Hello there, lovely people. This is me, Ashley, here, sending my love to you from whatever reality I'm in today to whatever reality you happen to find yourself in. And welcome back to part 3 of today's Mandela chat. And excuse me, I'm just swallowing something. Welcome to part 3 of today's Mandela chat. So it's I've had a couple of hours off, and I now want to, you know what, I can't even remember what it was that I've called this. It's gone. It's flipped out of my mind. Now that's a loss of memory. That's a loss of memory. I can't remember what it is. Can you, what can somebody please let me know what the title of this live is, please? I've forgotten. It's gone plain out of my mind, which doesn't help when you're trying to say, hi, Vicky, hi, futuristic, hi. I can't remember. I've only just written it. What does it say? What have I titled this? I'm such an idiot. I'm so sorry. Here I am trying to explain that the Mandela Effect has got nothing to do with memory loss, and I've turned into a demented old woman right in front of your very eyes. Can't even remember the title that I put in this video. So anyway, I've been on twice already today, but I wanted to carry it on tonight because obviously we like getting together. We need to get together, but this time I want to have as many of you talking as possible, please. So I'm going to have, you know, give you, even if it's only for 15 minutes, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would don't be shy, get yourself in on the chat. Get yourself completely in on the chat, and you don't have to show your face, obviously, but it'd be really good to actually talk to you guys instead of just me talking on my own. So has anybody come up with what it was that I've actually called this video? Because I have completely forgotten. And in the meantime, I've just posted the link to the live stream, so please don't be shy. Jump on and let's have a chat. Let's see. This is going to be led, this whole, however long this lasts, is going to be led by what you guys are saying in the chat, what you guys want to talk about. Living two lives. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. Yeah, living two lives. That I'm only starting off with that because obviously I'm waiting for people to join in, and then after that we're going to be, we'll talk about the things that you're interested in, the things that you want to talk more about, and your opinions on those things. So as I said, don't be shy, please come and join me. And the living two lives, and we all do. We're all living two lives because we're living the life that we're trying to live in our ordinary physical reality, ever changing as it is. We're trying to live ordinary lives in the world and the system that we find ourselves in. But then we have a completely different life going on, being Mandela affected, one that we keep quiet, one that we don't talk about to other people. Now, to me, the Mandela affected life feels more real than the supposed real life that we're supposed to be living in the real world in our physical surroundings. But to me, my Mandela affected life is far more real. So the two lives, we all live those two lives. We all live those two lives, the so-called real world and then the Mandela affected world. And I find myself to be far more connected to you guys and the things that we're experiencing together than the so-called reality outside the window, you know, or in fact in my kitchen inside the window, because it changed my windowsill, didn't it? It straightened, the Mandela effect straightened my windowsill for me, which I'm forever grateful of. But we are living two lives. It's like the weirdest thing ever. Hi, Joel's back again, so I'm just going to get him in. Let me just add him to the chat, add to stream. And like I said, everybody, you're perfectly welcome to join us. Hi, Joel, you're there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Before you continue, there's because I rewatched some of the first part of your last live stream. There's a YouTuber, I can't remember what the YouTuber's called. I think it's it was in my head like 10 minutes ago. From Sydney. I can't remember the name of the channel though. But
Is
That's
it
it. Futurist. That's it. Futuristic.
He's here in that now.
Oh, okay. Well, what part of Sydney are you from? Because I'm from Western Sydney. So
Yeah.
if you ever want to meet up, let me know. You can contact me on at my Joel Viner page, or even Joel Cully, which is my personal page. Just look up Cully, Cully, because I'd love to meet up with you, because I don't know anyone from Sydney that is Mandela affected. So it'd be great to properly Mandela affected. So I'd love to meet up with you sometime,
Well,
if possible.
Futuristic is very, very much affected. Yes, he's very, and like he's just written, Ashley keeps forgetting she has a good memory.
but look, I'm more than willing to travel all the way to the city, or if you live out in the eastern suburbs, just I'm willing to travel as far as you want me to travel.
Yeah, get together and do a live. You can hide Futuristic in the shadows if you want. You know what I mean? Have you put one of the anonymous masks on, so we will never will know he's in the inner city? He says, "Can you see that? Can you actually see the chat, Joel?"
Oh, sorry, I was
see the chat.
CBD. Oh, okay.
Inner city,
cool.
mate. So yeah, please get together, and then you can tell us about how it felt to actually meet somebody else that's Mandela affected.
Yeah, it'd be great. I'll contact you, and I'll send you my phone number, if that's okay.
See, it's really slow. It's really slow. You're trying to have a conversation with somebody in the chat that it's very slow catching up.
Well, weirdly enough, with the chat, it's saying an error has occurred, so maybe that's why. I'll go back into that and see. Okay, it's reloading. Alright, cool. Yep.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I've caught up now as well. Even mine's caught up. So,
did you know they're actually advertising? They're advertising StreamYard now.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yes,
so it must be catching on. I think that's why.
Well, we get 20 hours free. We get 20 hours free that you don't have to pay for, which is amazing.
I've been meaning to sign up to StreamYard for such a long time. I just never get around to it. I suppose that'll be this month's goal. But how do you, oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you add someone though?
You go down to your guests.
Yeah.
What you do, you go into guests and you say invite guest, and it brings up copy to clipboard. So you then go in to more, and it says on there, it says make comment, and you just copy and paste it and put it in, and up it comes.
Oh,
everything on this is so easy that even I can work it.
Oh, okay. I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't signed up, because I've just I've just been a bit.
I can do it, and I'm an absolute technophobe. I mean, Brian.
Yeah, fair enough.
He laughs at me because I literally didn't even know what a playlist was on YouTube. He had to explain that to me.
Okay, yeah.
And I'd been on YouTube for years without knowing what a playlist was. Then he taught me a lot.
To be fair, the term playlist isn't mentioned much on YouTube anyway, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing at all. I'm too old school. People that are older than me, they are really good at computers, and people that are younger than me. But I'm at that age group where we just kind of missed it. Even though I worked for computer distributors, handling and working on the most up-to-date equipment, and thinking about what it was like back in the day when I worked on that, what we have now, holding this in my hand. When I was 18, thinking about holding a computer in my hand, when I had to program my word processor to work every morning.
Wow.
I actually had to program it myself for it to work. And here I am holding this thing in my hand, and this thing in my hand connects us all through different realities. And
It blows your mind, doesn't it?
That I find it amazing that whatever the internet is, it allows all the realities to talk to each other. So what is the internet? What is the internet if it can work between realities and connect us all regardless? What is it? I've been thinking that for ages. It blows my mind. Totally blows my mind. So, Joel, what do you think the internet is? Getting a bit deep straight away.
Well, you really are. You're on the ball, I think. To be honest, I haven't thought much about the internet, to be honest, but I think it's a tool that we need to use. I actually was using the internet to watch to listen to some Evanescence music because there's an album. Yeah, because Evanescence. Yeah, did you know Evanescence is a Christian band?
No.
Neither did I. My friend Nigel was telling me their first album called Origins, which was an album that was only released, I think it was like 50 copies, and then they just scrapped the album for some reason. The only song that was ever released onto their actual official album was My Immortal.
Oh, really? So that came from the original, Christian album?
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Actually, and a lot of their songs from the Bring It to Life album, a lot of those songs are actually Christian songs. If you really listen to them, like, and songs like Lithium is actually a Christian song.
I'm going to be listening to them with new ears now.
Actually, that's their new album.
Oh, right.
I haven't listened to it yet myself. I only bought this on Saturday, and it's sitting there waiting for me to listen to.
Well, let me know what you think, because I love Evanescence. I absolutely love Evanescence.
Well, I don't really care about their songs. It's her voice.
Oh, yeah,
I love
absolutely.
her voice. Her voice has got so much raw emotion when she sings. I could listen to it all day. I wouldn't get sick of it.
If she didn't have that voice, it wouldn't work the same, would it? The words are powerful, but the voice makes the words powerful. I used to be a singer back in the day, and the reverb, the natural reverb in her voice, and everything. She carries all she carries because she can literally really sing. Yeah. Because see, nowadays, I don't think music nowadays. I know I sound like a right fuddy-duddy old person, but nowadays music doesn't have anything positive to say ever at all.
No,
they kind of stopped anything.
It's shit.
Yeah, it is, and it means absolutely nothing. There's no story or anything to it anymore,
actually there is a meaning. There is a meaning behind all the modern day music. It's about sex and drinking and being popular, and that's basically it. It's crap.
And then New World Order shit as well that they throw in all the time.
Pardon?
And the New World Order shit that they throw in all the time.
Oh yeah. Madonna's big with that. Oh, she actually wrote a song. She wrote a song about the Illuminati.
Oh, did she? What was that?
It's actually not a bad album. I can't think of the album it's off, but it's not her recent album that she released a year or so ago, but the album before that. The one with the stitches on her mouth. I can't think of the name of the album.
Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean, and I can't either, but I know which one you mean. No surprise to find that I can't remember what that album's called, because at the moment it's not a Mandela Effect. That's my old lady brain. See, the thing is that with Mandela Effects, they're not about now. They're about things that matter to us. They're about memories, like you were saying earlier on. You've got memories of your dad. That's how you know that's a fact, because it's a memory with your dad. It's not just forgetting what you wrote 2 minutes ago, is it? It's something that our anchor memories are very important to us because they've been a part of our life for so long, we're emotionally attached to our memories. So it's not, I wasn't emotionally attached to what this video's called. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't emotionally attached to it. So I find it really, really easy to forget what I've just written. But it doesn't mean that I'm misremembering Mandela effects. But, you know, Bitter Venom, Madonna was supposed to actually just be her real name in my reality. She was actually
Isn't that her
Madonna.
real name?
Yeah, well, Bitter Venom saying that it isn't. That Madonna was another name, and I actually thought that, but no, apparently it isn't. She's got that name, and she's Italian, and it's an Italian surname, but her name was always Madonna, whatever the Italian surname is. So in my really interested, but I'm not saying Bitter Venom isn't right, because it very well. Well, I'm agreeing it probably was. If you remember it as being that way, then that's your reality. Who am I to say that you're wrong? Mandela affected people, just because we don't have that same reality doesn't mean that that reality isn't right for the person that's actually saying it. That's why I got really annoyed about that idiot on that page earlier on that I was talking about, that whacked in the video of the new lyrics to California Dreaming. Like, of course that's all you're going to find here. You're not going to find anything else here. Those people don't understand that simple fact. I mean, none of us would try and convince somebody else or say that's not a Mandela effect just because it hasn't happened to you. We've learned that. We've got past that. We now know that just because that change hasn't happened to me doesn't mean it isn't a Mandela effect. So yeah, Bitter Venom. I'll go with Madonna. Was just her in his reality. I don't know why I keep saying he. Probably isn't. Could be a girl. But no, that's what
I was just thinking, you actually made me think about something after we got off the last time.
I didn't mean to do that.
Oh no, well that's not a bad thing. Because we were talking about the timelines and all that, and how there's 4 realities, but realistically, technically, we experience 5 because I've experienced I've experienced something that no one else has experienced, and you've experienced something that no one else has experienced. So there's at least 5 realities now.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And to be honest, I think there might be more.
Oh, I agree.
There has to be.
We haven't finished yet. I mean, I only said 4 because I'd seen 4 distinctly different changes to one building. That's the ones that I can remember noting, but it doesn't mean that it's stopped. It doesn't mean it's finished yet.
I don't think it ever will either.
Finished yet. And you're right, Vicky's saying that Google has got Google and NASA both have got quantum computers in my reality too. In my reality, yeah. I mean, the fact that Google is hooked up to a quantum computer is quite frightening. And Google and NASA are in cahoots together with this quantum computer. That's what makes it even weirder for me, Vicky. So, like, that's it. So I've said before that I think that the people that are in control of everything that we do on this planet, or whatever it is that we're in, the system that we find ourselves in, whoever is in control of it and running it, they have nefarious ideas and things that they're doing, and I think they know about the Mandela effect and they know what's coming. So I do think that they have some influence in what's happening. I don't think they caused it, but I think that they are, like, the fact that we now do have, I mean, we didn't have quantum computers. I actually showed a video from 2017 of a professor, a physicist, a professor of a physicist, talking about him hoping that very soon they're going to have quantum computers, and yet in this reality it says we've had them since 2010. So, you know, an actual physicist talking at the London Institute. Do you know what I mean? Talking at the National Institute in London, the Royal Institute, the place where all doctors stand and talk when they're doing, you know, for well over 3 centuries, people have stood there and talked. And he doesn't know that we've got quantum computers. It's things like that when we get bits of evidence left behind. Do you know what I mean? That bit has been left behind. That makes me question, why are some bits left behind? some bits of information, like me and my typing McDonald's, MAC, when the picture has changed to Mc. Didn't change my words. Why? That's what makes you, that's when you start, you think you've got it, you think you understand, and then something like that happens and you go off on a tangent again of not knowing. A tangent of not knowing.
Well, a person from NASA actually said that he believed in the Mandela Effect. And that he was actually experiencing it. I don't know what his name was, but someone from NASA actually said that they believe in it because they're experiencing it.
Whoa!
So,
I need to find out about that one.
If I find the video where I heard it from, and I know it was a video format that I heard it from, if I can find the video, I'll share it with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I will go and look, but it doesn't mean it's in my reality. You might have to pass it. You might have to pass it from your reality to mine, because
what I'll do is I'll videotape it and then send it to you if I have to.
Well, I do, like you guys. I put up a video of me showing the world with the ice cap on the top of it, and you guys can see what I'm seeing, the world with the ice cap on top of it. So we can share each other's realities. We can show each other's realities. But I do remember when I first became affected, I was watching one of the channels, and somebody had said, look, the words have changed in this. And I said, oh, no, it's the same for me. But lots of other people in the chat, they were like pretty much half of us were saying it hadn't changed. The other half were saying, oh, I'm hearing this other word instead, kind of thing. But it was pretty much half and half back then. And back then, you could, if it hadn't changed for you already, you couldn't share the change, and then that changed, and we were then able to share the changes with each other. Like, it was from a film. It was a very old film, like from the 50s, and they were showing a line out of it, and they said what it said in their changed reality, and I said what I heard, which was a different thing. So that's people looking at the same thing, picking up two different realities at the same time. But now we've got to the stage where we can show each other the changes that I've got. I could show you a picture of my world with my reality and the North Pole on it, and you can show me that your reality on your world with no North Pole on it. But we can now at least show each other. A few years ago, we couldn't. So, yeah, I mean, we're lucky that we can share through this. Very, very lucky that we can share through this. We've learned so much from each other because we can.
Did you throw yourself off, Ashley? I can't see you anymore. Like, I think she has. She'll be back in a minute.
I'm sorry.
Let's have a look at the chat.
I kicked myself out. But
I thought as much.
I literally wiped a cat hair off my screen and jumped out. That was that.
Oh, wow. It doesn't take much, does it?
It wasn't for me. So I'm going to put the link to the live in again, and let's see if we can get somebody else to join us, which would be lovely. So don't be shy, people. You know you want to. You know you want to. You don't have to be showing your face. You can disguise your voice if you want. You can put on an Irish accent or whatever it is you want to do.
Richard. Hi. Hey, Richard.
Hi, Jason. And Richard, yeah, he always finds us. So there we go. If you fancy popping on, don't be shy. Give it a try. Good grief, I'll stop now. Ooh. I'm sorry, I've stopped because I'm reading. I'm just reading.
Same here. Same here.
Sorry.
I'm just reading Richard's comment. Wow. I mean, everything's changing for him. So he's just as affected as you are then.
Richard,
but in saying that, wasn't it Richard that didn't Richard see his own world blow up?
Yes. And now
that's probably why.
now we're living in the reality where his world is now wrapped around the Milky Way. There's a ring. It's now a ring around the Milky Way, is what it is now in the reality that I'm in. Yeah. So we come from literally all over it and not. Right. Futuristic is just saying a suggestion. Next stream, can we prepare some things to share? We're all kind of the same, searching for the same answers, but I'm heading out to the casino in a few minutes. Oh, sorry, that's Richard Parker. Richard, I'm sorry. I ended up reading the end of Richard's because it popped up underneath. No, it says, and I've lost you. He said, just a suggestion, next stream, can we prepare some things to share and compare like Mount Rushmore, Statue of Liberty, global maps, etc., display them live on screen and see the differences in real time? Yes, I'd love to, Futuristic. I'm just not sure how to do that. But
actually, I might be able to answer my own question there. Share. So you share screen.
Oh my God, I just set my hair on fire.
What? What?
I literally just set my hair on fire.
How?
Right, I lit a cigarette and my hair. There's a bit of my, oh dear, singed. It smells lovely here now.
It's a good thing you're not wearing. It's a good thing you're not wearing hairspray.
Oh no, thank God I'm not. No, I'd have gone up like woof. How do you make me? So yeah, I've just set fire to myself, people. How I get through every day is beyond me. How I brought up children is beyond me.
I guess it's the life of a smoker, I guess.
Oh, it definitely is, but that was ridiculous. That is
my mum at one stage used to constantly, like on a daily basis, would singe her fringe. And this happened for years on end. Like I said, Mom, you're burning your hair. Like she'd be literally have a conversation. She's got like this, like that, and then I said, Mom, you're burning your hair. She hasn't done it for a while though, thank God. But yeah.
Well, my screen's now got bits of singed hair on it, and my room smells delightful. I probably just set myself on fire, but I'm all right. Don't worry, I'm good.
Well, if you weren't awake before, you are now.
Much now, I did liven up a bit there. I did very much liven up a bit. So you said about share. What do you share? Where do you share?
Oh yeah. So on the bottom, I don't know what it's like on a phone, but on the computer, it has mute. Oh no, she's dropped out again. I'll wait for her to come back. Okay, so I'll go back to the chat for a bit. Let me know when you're back, Ash.
I'm sorry, Joel. I did it
it's
again.
Okay.
I threw myself again.
I figured as much. I've been reading Richard's what's it called? Oh my God, my brain's not working. He's typing. I can't think of the word. Comment. That's it. Comment. Apparently, we can manipulate time and space, and the software that runs slot machines. So that's interesting.
Well, yeah, he does come out with some interesting things, does Richard? I'm always glad to have him on. So how do we go about sharing? Because I've got my guests. So with
the computer, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know about a phone, but on the computer it has mute, stop cam, mic, and she's just dropped out again. She's not having much luck today, is she? Oh well, we'll go back. We'll wait for her to come back. Yeah, so Richard, if you're still on, let me know what you mean by manipulating. Like, how do we manipulate time and space? So I'd love to know how to do that, because that'd be quite handy. It'd be very handy.
I'm sorry I did it again.
I know. I just told him one. I was just saying to him. I was just saying to him once, she's not having much luck today, is she?
No, really not. I pressed more, and it tells settings and all that kind of thing. But when there's nothing for me anywhere. But if you can, if you can share, that's good enough. That's good enough for me.
Well, it's got mute, stop cam, mic, and then it's got the share symbol and leave studio. So it's next to leave studio.
Oh, right. I'll have a look at that later. Then I'm not going to do it now because I've thrown myself out enough. I have definitely thrown myself out enough. So
Are you still there? Or have you muted yourself? Oh, no, she's dropped out again. Okay, I'll go back to reading. Okay, so futuristic says, personally, I don't.
Oh, it's my mic.
Oh, was it?
I lost.
Okay.
My mic went down. I was still here, but my mic went down. So yeah, in future, like I'm with you, futuristic. If you've got stuff, we'll have to work out how you can pass it on to us. If you can't, if you've got things you want us to see, you can either drop us a link in the comments and then pick it up and go from there, and Joel can show it. Because if you're able to do that, you can pick up a link from the chat and then go to wherever it is that people want to show you. Until I work out what the hell I'm doing.
Well, I'm assuming that's how you share the screen is by pushing the share button. So
you want to try it? Try it now and share something with us now and see if it works. Because if you,
I don't know what I can share though. I've got nothing in my mind that I can share at the moment. You know what? I'll show you the that channel that I was talking about on YouTube. Hang on, let me just get into it first. And okay, so actually, let's go into here. Actually, another channel that you might like. It's called Morbid. It's a morbid true crime podcast. I reckon you'd like that. You'd like that too. But the episodes are about an hour each. Where did I find? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so let's hope that I can share this. Okay, he's hoping.
Are you doing better than me?
It does. Okay, so it has, when it comes to when you push the share, it has share screen and video file. So let me just, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get out of the share screen, but let's go for it. Screen sharing tips. Screen sharing is okay. 2 monitors, yep. On a good computer, but what would it constitute as a good computer though?
Pardon?
Shit. Oh, sorry, I'm just talking to myself at the moment. I do that from time to time.
You're on a laptop, aren't you, Joel? Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, let's just... Okay.
You're me on the phone.
So am I...
There are 24 people here at the minute. Not all of you are talking, but I can see that you're there. So come on, don't be shy. Jump on in and come and have a chat with us. Come and chat with Joel. Don't be shy. I know you're there. Oh, look at that. I scared somebody away. There's only 23. That was quick. He's like, sod that, I'm out of it. 22. Oh, no. I didn't even threaten anybody. I've not even threatened anybody.
Okay. I don't know. Is it working? Is it working? I don't know if it is or not. Is it? No, it's not.
Yet. No, I can't see anything yet. Don't worry. We 21. Oh, my God. This is hilarious.
You jinxed it. I'm gonna keep trying because.
Will you stop me now?
Oh, right. Okay, so it's saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm finding that really hilarious. I just lost all those people. 90.
It's amazing. It's
It's just
amazing what things. It's amazing what things make it a salafi.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my dropping numbers since then is hilarious. Me, don't be shy. Come on in. I can see you. Off they go. Oh, we're up to 21 again. Either they've decided that they're not afraid and they've come back on, or we've got totally different people. But either way, that was hilarious. I love that. The timing was fantastic. Don't be. Oh my God, they're going. They're going. Oh, it was funny. I need things like that. I need things like that. It pulls me up. So yeah, we'll work it out. We will work it out because I'd like.
Well,
We want to be able to show us to show each other the things that we found. As well as
at the moment, I'm actually trying to work it out myself at the moment because I should be able to do it. Now share, see what happens. Did it work?
Yeah, we're back down to.
It's doing something.
Stay around at the minute. I mean, I'm not talking about anything. I mean, all the exciting stuff's finished. I've set fire to myself already, and we're only 37 minutes in. We've got a lot to live up to, Joel. You know what I mean? How are we going to top that? Oh, and we're down to 80.
Okay, well, it's saying that I'm sharing the YouTube, but I don't understand how that's. I don't understand why isn't it. No, I'll just stop that because I don't know why it's not. So I'm just trying to work it out. Like,
I can't even get to that actual. I can't even get to the actual screen. It's only there when I first log in and log out. I don't know what this banner situation's about. I'm just looking at banners, what that is. Oh, Vicky said the ME made them vanish. Oh, I hope not. I really hope not. I mean, I found it hilarious. I don't want them disappearing into the ether. Oh, it was just the timing. The timing was so good. I love that sort of thing. You can't take yourself too seriously. You really can't. You really can't. So, Vicky,
I don't understand this. I don't understand it. Why? I mean, I'm sharing the YouTube thing, but it's not coming up.
No, I can see it. It's definitely not coming up because I can't see anything. I can just see a pretty face. Nothing else is happening.
Well, no. I'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, you've got more chance than I have, though, love. You got to the right screen, at least. At least you got to the right screen. So, Vicky, it looks like it's just you, love. You seem to be there all alone in the chat. She's just there. Look at that, poor Vicky. It's all just Vicky. I'm looking at the chat, and all I can see is Vicky. And there's Futuristic, and there's Vicky. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay, Richard. Really glad you got in. I'm going up to pick up some cash because I think we need to keep cash because they're trying to make it a cashless society. So you keep spending your cash, boy. Keep spending your cash. And see you soon. Big love. Hi, another Rick. So you're not on your own, Vicky. And we're here. We noticed you being all lonely and all. We noticed. So, yeah. Another Rick. I love that name, Another Rick. It sums it all up, doesn't it? I never know what Ashley I'm going to be from one day to the next. I mean, and that's just in my normal life without Mandela Effect changes. So I could end up being anything. You never know. You never know. The thing is that I can't. You don't wake up and realize instantly things have changed. It's kind of like I'll look at myself in the mirror and I think, oh, bloody hell, I look a little bit, my skin looks bloody good today, or I look particularly fresh, you know, when you don't normally. Or I wake up and I think, hang about, an old lady stolen and swapped bodies with me in the night. What's happened? Do you know what I mean? Some old lady has sneaked in, had off with my body and left her own. So it's, even though we have bodily changes and things, and we do see them and notice them, things like the skull, we see, because like I see it because I watch things about ancient history, and like I said, when I was living at my daughter's for 3 months, they kept showing me these on TV all the time, skulls with sockets with bone in them, and I just wanted to shout, look, they've got bone in the socket, but I can't because I haven't talked to my daughter about it at all. So you know what I mean?
I just realized something. I think I'm not sure. I think I might have done it some. Oh no, maybe not. Sorry.
Well, Futuristics, you're saying Brian Staveley knows all the computer tech stuff, but I think he's dealt enough with me, Futuristic. I wouldn't put him through it.
Because there is two screens with. There's one screen with me and you. Sorry, that's bad English. You and me. And then there's one with me by myself.
That's bad English. It's you and I.
Oh yeah, true that, isn't it? Well, there you go. My English is still bad. There you go.
Never mind. Look, it's all right.
But no, there is two. There is two. There's one with me by myself, and there's another one with you and I.
Oh, I wonder what the one with you doing on your own's doing. Go and check.
Well, I'm assuming that's the one with that I'm supposed to share stuff, but I can't see.
So that's all weird. That's all very. You can't even. Mind you, even if you did show me, I wouldn't be able to help you. I don't even know why I suggested that. As if you showing me your screen's going to make me be able to help you anyway.
Well, when I clicked off the stop bit, it actually stopped showing the you and I bit.
Right. Oh.
So that must be how to. So I'm obviously halfway there to being able to share the screen, but it's not coming up for some reason.
No, and I'm not getting anything to add it, because I heard along the grapevine somewhere that you kind of add it like a guest. You add their screen like a guest, so he gets a screen all of its own. We're still there, and this screen all of its own, but I don't know. I might even have just got that completely wrong, and I'm sorry. I've not helped at all. And Loyalty Makeshift Family was just saying it blows her mind how much Egypt has changed from her reality, and I'm the same. You could not get all 3 of the pyramids together in a picture because they were that far apart. And I do remember years ago, way before 2014, that the Egyptian pyramids suddenly, the small one at the end, suddenly had 3 extra pyramids. And I was like, they weren't there before, but and I just
only ever had 3.
Me too. But then quite well over 10 years ago, these other 3 little ones appeared, and I couldn't really get my head around it, so I just kind of accepted it. Like, I didn't they weren't there. I didn't think they were there, but then there they were. And then actually seeing the configuration of the pyramids now in one photograph freaks me out, because I really studied ancient Egyptian, and my bathroom in my old home with my family, I painted it like the bathroom door looked as if it was. So I wanted, when I was lying in my bath, to be as if I was living in Egypt, looking out at the pyramids through a window. So I painted my door to look like the wall of like a pyramid. I even wanted to put a load of sand in my paint, and it fell off the wall. I had to start again because I get right into it. If I'm going to do something, I go the whole way. So I painted my bathroom, and I painted the door, and the middle bit of the door I painted like it was a window looking out onto a night sky with Orion in the sky, and obviously Isis as well. And the pyramids looking from the opposite side than you normally see. So I know all about the pyramids. I know exactly the configuration of the pyramids, and you could never get them all together on one picture. And then suddenly they're all squashed together, and you can see them all together. And it changes from the middle to the end one as to which is the Great Pyramid. But the Great Pyramid is the one that is not in the middle. It's for me, the Great Pyramid was the one that is the biggest one on one end. It wasn't ever the middle one. The Great Pyramid was never the middle one, and it flip-flops about all the time. So I do know that Egypt really freaks me out as well. Joel, Futuristic, saying something to you.
Oh, sorry. I'm not reading the chat at the moment.
Can you see it?
Oh yeah. Here's another mental. Oh, okay, cool. If
And it's
a
definitely
close-
okay. See? Definitely. Yes.
Let me just go get a pen and paper.
You're not broke. Can you not type it on your can you hear me now? I bet you can't even hear me now, can you? Oh, look at those plants. He's got green fingers, that lad has. Look at those lovely plants. I'm very impressed. I'm not so good. I'm good with outside plants, but not house plants. He's here. He's got his pen and paper. And then he told me, oh, no, he's back now. He's back. Shh, shh. Sorry. We're talking about him. Blue Beast 2011.
Okay, cool.
I'll have to go and have a look at him as well. Bluebeard, I've seen him. Futuristic, I have. He's very blunt, isn't he? You can tell he's an Oz. He's very. You'll love him, Joel. He's very, very blunt about things, and he is very good. Yeah, he is really good. Yes, and he goes deep. He goes deep. The man knows what he's talking about. I'll give him that. He goes really, really deep.
Oh, by the way, did you want to see it the Australian morning?
Yeah.
Okay, let me unplug it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see it?
No, I can just see bright. It's just bright, Joel.
Oh, is it?
I can't see anything.
Okay, let's. Oh, right. I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, hang on. We're on the wrong screen. That helps. Okay. So, almost got it. Almost got it.
Well, you can't see properly. It's just really, really bright. But it's really, really bright, so I'm already jealous.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Almost got it.
Oh, I can just about know.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see just a little bit out of one corner. I can't see properly. I can.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
I can see you washing.
Yeah. I forgot that we had washing out.
It's all bright and you got your washing on the line, you lucky thing. We can.
To be honest, we've had a lot of storms. We've had a hell of a lot of storms lately, though.
Oh my God! Futuristic is just saying that the mystery dimensional man from Taurid, that the country that's the country that doesn't exist. Bluebeard is from the Earth that has the country Taurid. They have that. He's in that world. I have actually seen an old map with it on. To be fair, I have, but he's actually in that world. He was actually, I'm sure it was him, Futuristic, that was talking about literally he is on a level of Mandela affected way beyond ours. He found himself in a world where he was being hunted and people had to come and rescue him. I'm fairly sure it was Bluebeard 2011. I'm fairly sure it was. He's very, very deeply into it. So yeah, definitely go and look.
I think I'm saying it correctly. I'm not sure, but Venshan. I'm not sure. Sorry if I'm saying your name incorrect, but the YouTube channel Venshan was saying that only Jesus in her, yeah. Peter now walks on water. Yeah, I remember only Jesus could walk on water.
Yeah, me too. But now Peter in the Bible walks. Yeah. So I'm going to go and investigate that later on to see whether it's changed in my Bible, because no. Jesus now resurrects, I think, 3 people from the dead when it was just Lazarus in my reality. Just Lazarus. Right, in one of his videos, he states he will know when he's back home once he sees Taurid is back on the map. Oh, Futuristic, that's just so sad. because here we all are knowing that in our reality it's never been real, and that poor man is waiting for it to come back. But it doesn't mean that his reality's come back just because Torah comes back. As we all know, I've got the North Pole here, but it doesn't mean it's my North Pole from my original reality, because it isn't. It really isn't. And Greenland is enormous now.
Oh, is it?
Enormous. Greenland is much, much bigger than it used to be. Much. Greenland. And Iceland is neither here nor there now. It's all just crazy, crazy, crazy. And yeah, the Bible changes are the ones that they're the ones that I'm never calm about them. I can't be. I can see things changing around me in my physical location change and be far calmer about that than I ever am about the Bible changes. I can't be calm about the Bible changes at all. So, and also online before, I'm part of the Mandela page. Teresa, her name, she's a lovely, lovely, lovely woman. She got all upset because somebody had done a video saying that there's something wrong with us and we're under the great delusion, and that and she got really, really upset by it. And I think that people like that, they're scared, and they don't want to think that, because obviously the differences between our Bibles are vast, aren't they? And these people that the Bible's always been like that for, I think it frightens them. They're not. A lot of them are even pastors who have corrected their own Bibles when they've changed, still deny the Mandela effect, and it's because they're frightened, just like we were when our Bibles changed. But whether you see the Bible or not, if you're going to instantly start saying that this Mandela effect, it's all the great illusion, and that we're evil, I wouldn't dream of telling somebody else that they're evil. You know, that's a horrible thing. But to me, I just think they're frightened. That's why. I just think they're frightened. Some of them are just outright arsewipes, but in the main, I think they're frightened. Joe.
Sorry, I'm just writing down notes.
I thought you'd
for
not.
No. Just writing down notes.
What time is it now? About 7 in the morning.
Almost 7, yeah. It's interesting that you said that though, because I was talking to a Christian early last year, and he reckons it's all through the devil.
Yeah, well, I think the devil's using it. I think it's all part of it. He is able to change times.
But this Christian was saying that it didn't exist.
But we're able to see it. He said what didn't exist.
He said the Mandela Effect doesn't exist and that it's the devil playing with your mind, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with one little bit, but
it isn't, is it? It really isn't, because we have actual residue which showing both things, showing what it is and what it was. So you can see two totally separate realities going on at the same time, but they can't deal with it, so they frightens them. And especially Bible changes. Never mind your logo changes. Bible changes really freak them out. Now I'm just going downstairs because I need a cup of coffee. So I'm taking you with me. If I lose connection, just talk to everybody, Joel, and I'll be back with you. Hopefully,
it'll be great. It'll be a great what's it called, practice anyway.
Yeah, see, at first you wouldn't have even, you couldn't, could you, at all? I remember asking you, like, no, not on my own. But now you're nice to do it all now.
Well,
so, you know.
Well, I'm still, I'm still a bit like that, but I mean, you know, I'm trying to get used to it.
Cool, love. You're all relaxed there. Look at you. You're all relaxed. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to turn it off. Otherwise, all you will hear will be my kettle boiling. And so I'll be back. I'm listening, but I'll be back when I've had my coffee. It's over to Joel.
So I'm just reading Richard's solution will be facts. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like he was scared. I mean, I don't know. I do feel like he was scared, or maybe he just doesn't believe in the Mandela effect. I did try my best to explain to him exactly what the Mandela effect was, and he just said, read your Bible. And it's like, well, regardless of what the Bible says, I mean, reality's changing. So, and like, I think he might have been here. Then Shan. Hopefully, I'm saying your name right. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but we were saying earlier before, I think it was in the last video, my friend Nigel and I were looking up at the moon, and he saw one different moon, I saw the other. Like, he saw the man in the moon, but I no longer can see the man in the moon. So I tried to explain to this guy, exactly what was happening, and he just kept on referring it to the devil, playing with your mind, which, like I said, I don't agree with at all. However, I do believe in dead entities, which a lot of people don't understand. With dead entities, a dead entity um, can take over a population of people, where a demon can only affect one person or one household of people. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. Maybe he was frightened. Who knows? Also, yes. There is, between Ashley and I, we have worked out there is now 5 realities going at the same time. I've experienced one thing that no one else has experienced, which is Brittany Murphy been alive last year. She was actually working on something. I don't know if it was a book or a movie or what it was, but I remember it being really, really interesting. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on whatever media it was that she was working on. And then I found out 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks, a bit over 2 weeks ago. I found out that she had died like in the late 90s. I was like, what the fuck? So that's, and Ashley's gone through something that no one else has as well. So that is one reality plus 4 other ones that are going at the same time. So really, who knows how many realities there are. Being a musician myself, I've seen so many different changes with songs, even videos, movies, you name it. I've seen it change. I was saying in the other video, this season has changed so much. The first, I think, 7 or 8 episodes have changed, with Alyssa Milano, which is that one there. Her hair color's changed so much. And I'm waiting for the next change because I reckon that it will change again. Oh, that's interesting. Futuristic. Yeah, dead entities have been around for a long, long time. Dead entities actually comes from outside of our galaxy. Now, it's very hard for a dead entity to penetrate our universe, let alone our planet. It is very, very hard. However, if one does enter, it doesn't take much for a dead entity to I can't think of the word, my mind's going blank. But basically to be able to corrupt a civilization like the human race. Like I was saying before, what's it called? Demons can only affect one person to one household of people, but it can't really stretch itself out. And that's what the Bible is saying, that, demons can affect the whole world. That is true, but there would have to be hundreds, if not thousands, of demons surrounding the earth, which again, that's true, but a dead entity can help with all the corruption. That's why there's the coronavirus bullshit going around, all the fake stuff that's going on with the coronavirus. I'm not saying the coronavirus is not real, because it is, but it's definitely not as bad as what the media is saying. But all these lies that they're coming out with, all the corruption, all the end time stuff that's happening, it's all from not so much the devil, but from these dead entities. I know that if more than a couple dead entities inhabit the same area, things just get worse very, very quickly. I do believe from the research that I've done, a dead entity is actually worse than the devil, because you got to remember God made Jesus and the devil, where the dead entities apparently are the same kind of frequency as God himself. Yeah. So I don't know if God actually made dead entities, but I know that both God and the dead entities are not from our solar system. It's we're talking about light years away from. That's why God has been able to make our solar system, because he's outside of our solar system.
Hang about, Bencham, you've just been saying here that in your reality, everybody knew who the Mona Lisa is. Who is it? Who is it? Because in my reality, nobody knew who she was. So please tell us, who is the Mona Lisa? Who is it? Oh, now I need to know. Now I need to know, because in my reality,
she was a nobody.
We never knew who she was. There was, and the smile, the reality of, there is a little bit of residue about what she looked like in my reality, and you really couldn't tell whether she was smiling or not. It was, is she or isn't she? Now she's got a smirk.
Yeah,
she's got an absolute smirk on her face now. There's no is she, isn't she smiling question. You can see her smirking. So who on earth is she? Whoa. Everybody's always known who the Mona Lisa is. Who is the Mona Lisa? I can't get over that.
Interesting. I thought Mona Lisa changed a lot sooner than in 2016. I remember her changing like early 2000s.
What?
Wow.
You did what in the early 2000s? Look.
I remember Mona Lisa's smile changing in the early 2000s.
Oh, you remember it changing?
Yeah.
See, I
was still in New Zealand when I heard about it.
Right. See, I hadn't seen it for ages. I hadn't seen it at all for ages, so I didn't know.
I thought at the time it was just, someone having a laugh about it, because I never really researched on it, because I didn't know how to use a computer back then. It's only been the last 10 years I've learned how to use a computer.
Diana Oddman here, she's saying the song Changes by David Bowie has so many changes in it. The line in the song, time may change me, but I can't change time, was time, now trace. To me, it was, I'm a David Bowie fan. I saw him live at Wembley Arena in 1983. And that is one of the songs that must have changed a long time ago for me, Diana, because I found myself not knowing whether it was trace or change, and singing. When it came to singing it, I knew it used to be change time, but I was singing change and trace, because it does say trace. I can't trace time, but it was I can't change time. It really was. But that's one of those ones where I've got a double. I was mixed up as to what it really meant, what it really said, even though I know it used to be change, but I found myself trace. Never felt right, but I wasn't Mandela affected. I didn't know about reality changes when it changed for me. I hadn't found the Mandela effect. So for me, it was just, what is it? Is it, I can hear trace, but it didn't feel right. So that's one of those ones where I've got a confused memory over it. which is surprising. I'm a massive fan. I actually say that I've been in the same room as David Bowie. I mean, it was a big one. It's Wembley Arena, and there was a couple of 100,000 people there with me. But I was in the same room as David Bowie. So no, that got to me, Diana, very much so. Ooh. Vicky, are you buffering? I hope not.
I just hold it to go. I just hold it to go into the notifications bell and click your video again.
Right.
Because that's what happened to me a couple of times.
Right.
So, what are you eating?
Well, I'm actually munching on salt sticks.
Oh, what are those?
But it's like a long, thin. Oh, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's a long, thin, almost like a breadstick, but not a breadstick. And these ones taste of cheese and onion, and they're very tasty.
Oh, sounds good.
About a minute. I'll go mad and show you. I'm gonna excuse the look, but I'm gonna turn the camera on for a minute. That's a salt stick.
Can't see. Oh, hang on. Well, hang on. Let me go. Oh, yeah.
They come in that bag. These are Polish ones from a Polish shop down the road, to be honest. And they're very tasty. I've never cheese and onion flavoured. I used to eat salt sticks. They're a bit like pretzels. I should have said they're a bit like pretzels. I used to eat them when I was a kid in Germany.
Okay.
So it's like a blast from my childhood, even though these are Polish and these are cheese and onion. They don't taste like cheese and onion, but it's nice. It's tasty. So yeah, being all salty over here. Well, Darkslayer 1, I actually set fire to myself earlier. So yeah, now I'm being a bit salty. So I've lost my mind. As soon as I started the video, I'd forgotten what I'd called it. So I started off forgetting what I'd called the video. Then I set fire to my hair. It's like, what? I've been throwing myself out of every chat that this is the third chat we've done today. So I've thrown myself out constantly. And I should just hand over to you and sit back and say nothing and just enjoy it with you on it, really. Be a lot better. But yeah, that's my salt sticks. I didn't realise you could hear me chomping and crunching.
Oh yeah, but remember I've got my headset on too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's gonna. All you can hear is crunch, crunch, crunch. Could you hear my hair fizzling?
No, I couldn't. But I wasn't really paying attention either.
No, but you did hear me juggling with the phone earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
I was trying to catch it.
Actually, talk about food. When I was waiting for your live to come back on, I was in the fridge. I don't know what it was for, but I looked down. I saw the pickles. I was like, "Oh, Ashley," because I was feeling a little bit hungry, and I thought, well, I don't really want to eat any more of the nuts, and I thought, well, why not just eat some pickles? I was like, oh.
I do like a pickle.
But you know, I finished up laughing when I thought about it.
Yeah, some people actually drink it neat, but no, don't do that. It's an acid. They drink it neat. You're supposed to add the apple cider vinegar to water, but people drink it neat thinking it's going to be better for them. No, it isn't. You're going to do damage to yourself. It's an acid. You have to water it down.
What is that for the vinegar one?
The apple cider vinegar, yeah.
Oh, okay. How does it damage you?
It's an acid.
Oh,
It's not going to do the insides of you any good at all. It takes the enamel off your teeth. It can cause trouble with your esophagus because you can't drink neat vinegar and be all right. You definitely have to water it down. So,
I don't need any more problems. I've got enough problems with my teeth because of the acid reflux.
Yeah, that's not good. But it stops that. It stops reflux.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've got a mouthful of fillings now because of the acid reflux.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. It's worse when you have to have a needle put in your mouth. It's like, oh. So I'm looking forward. Actually looking forward to my dentist appointment in like a week's time because I've got a tooth about there. Pardon?
You look forward to seeing your dentist, you weird freak. Get off my channel. What kind of are you?
This tooth has got this tooth has got a hole in it now, and I'm starting to feel a bit of pain. So I'm looking forward to getting a filling just to be able to eat on this side again.
I was my members of my family. It used to be only girls, but the last generation, the boys have started having it happen to them too. My grandson included, where we get three lots of teeth.
Oh,
we have three lots of teeth. The first lot is your baby teeth and all's well, but the minute that your second lot of teeth come, now my sister, her third lot of teeth came after quite a lot of the second lot came out, but mine all came out at the same time. Second and third lot of teeth all came at the same time. I had them growing in all weird places, and needed loads and loads of my teeth taken out as a child. And my dad was in the army, so we had to go to army dentists, and they're used to dealing with squaddies. They didn't treat us as children, so I was absolutely terrified of dentists after that. Being a child and going to an army dentist with a man in army uniform, manhandling you and being very rough, and it was the most awful experience. So I had to go more often than most kids because I had two lots of teeth coming through at the same time.
Ouch.
And now, unfortunately, it's jumped the gene thing and gone into the lads. Some of the boys are having the problem now. My own grandson, the poor lad, he's really suffered with it, having so many teeth, constantly having to have them taken out. But then again, I mean, that might change soon as well. But to be fair, out of everything that how the body's been created, it is teeth that's been a bit of a fucker, really. They're not good, are they? Teeth. They always mess up.
No, they're
And
not
it's not
metal. I asked the dentist for white fillings because I refuse to. I refuse to get metal fillings because they just look horrible.
Well, at least you've got the choice now. Good thing.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, I've got like 4 or 5 fillings just in this section here. You wouldn't be able to tell, but if you look close enough, you'd be able to see the fillings. But he matched the fillings with my actual teeth, so it doesn't look too bad. Yeah.
Oh, how brilliant! That's pretty brilliant.
But I can't bite into an apple because I'm afraid that it will damage the teeth. So what I do is I cut up the apple now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, always ask for the white ones because metal fillings back in the 60s or 70s used to actually poison the body as well.
Yes, they did. My mouth was full of that. Absolutely full of. It's no bloody wonder I'm off my marbles, is it really?
Well, that's probably what's caused your health to decline too.
They do destroy teeth, and it does make you think. I mean, I had abscesses and everything. I had terrible time with my teeth. I had really bad abscesses, and I used to actually get rid of my own abscesses. I used to pop them and make them because they wouldn't treat you. They wouldn't treat you or take it out while you still had the abscess. Like desperate for that. So I used, and the pain was so bad, I was literally absolutely overdosing on any kind of painkiller. So I would actually relieve myself and pop them, sterilize a needle and pop it and just ease it a bit.
Screw that.
I had to. Otherwise I'd kill myself.
Well, you know what? You got more balls than me because I wouldn't do it.
Well, it's to be fair, I had toothache while I was giving birth, and the toothache was worse. And I had forceps delivery, but the toothache was worse. It really was. It's very hard to try and concentrate on giving birth with a raging toothache, which sounds ridiculous, but it was quite off-putting. Oh, so what is it? That ceramic teeth? Ceramic teeth?
I think that's what I've got, ceramic fillings. I think. I'm not sure.
Oh, right, ceramic fillings, right? But you mean ceramic like ceramic? Is it the same ceramic?
No, I
as
don't
every
think. I
other?
don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it's a different type of ceramic because they have to do it up in layers for memory.
Ah, right. They
Mm.
build it up.
So it's a bit softer than like ceramic that you'd use on a toilet.
Yeah, right. Okay, right.
I think.
But
Don't quote me on it.
They sound very breakable. That's my thing. They sound very breakable.
Well, I mean, my teeth are strong, but they're not as strong as my real teeth used to be. But
Right,
luckily,
yeah.
they're only small fillings though. But they only last for like about 2 to 5 years. Which
And then
sucks.
what? You come back and have them all
and then
again.
you have to get it all over again. Yep.
Well, here we're talking about dentists.
Out of all things,
we literally have the weirdest conversations.
we're
now dentistry and teeth. But I mean, there are people say that, like the Nephilim, the giants of the Bible. There are in this reality, that in my reality, there were tales of giants being found and very old, grainy photographs of giants being found. Now, in this reality, there's loads of giants being found all over the bloody place. And although the mainstream is acknowledging it, it doesn't mean it isn't happening.
Another Rick. I was actually told that. Then I mean, like I said, I don't know if I've actually got the ceramic fillings, but I've been told that they're not as strong as the real tooth. Then that's why they only last for about 2 to 5 years. But like I said, they may not be ceramic. I'm just assuming they are.
And I've pierced my own nose, Bent Charm. She was saying that her mum said getting a nose pierced was worse than giving birth. I've pierced my own.
I had my nose pierced back in 2011, and this side of my face went numb for like 2 hours.
Well, that's not good. No,
yeah, never again.
Piercing's not the thing for you, Joel. Have you not thought of that?
Yeah, I know. It's
time with piercings.
But these ones that I've got at the moment, these ones seem to be a lot better than the other ones. I just take them out for like 12 hours. Let my body rest a bit, and then I put them back in.
Right.
Where with the other ones, I couldn't because you had to screw them in, and it was just too hard to get them out.
Yeah, I think. I've got 5 holes in my nose where I've pierced it, and other people have pierced it. Because I have, where at different times, and I've been thinking about as soon as I'm able to, I'm going to go and have it pierced again. I'm going to have it pierced. I used to have a stud and a ring in mine, because when I first had my nose pierced, kids used to point at me. Because not very many people had the nose pierced.
Oh yeah, it's popular now.
I stood out, and then there was like I was indignant. There were middle-aged women with the nose pierced, like younger than I am now, but middle-aged women had got the nose pierced, and I didn't want to look like that, so I had it pierced again. So I'd got a stud and a ring. I wasn't being. I wanted to make it look like I'm not like you. I've not done it to copy you. I've done it myself, and now everybody, even old women, are having their nose pierced. So I'm gonna have twice. So I had a stud and a ring, and then they'd come out over time, and then I'd re-pierce because they heal up. Your nose heals up, so I'd re-pierce. But I'm now not stupid enough to re-pierce my nose on my own. I'll go and have it done properly into one of the holes I've already got. So yeah. How big is I think another Rick, it's about a third. Is it about a third as big as Earth? Another Rick, I think. He's just asking how big is Mars in comparison to Earth. So
I thought it was the same size.
No, it's a bit, well, it might have been in your reality, but in my reality it was a bit smaller, maybe a third smaller. I'm not entirely sure around that, I think, though.
So I know Mars is further away than it used to be.
Is it?
Yeah. It's
Well,
not it's not as close to the sun as it used to be.
oh, I've not checked that. I never thought to check other planets, you know. Never even began to think about checking other planets, which is like, why? Obviously, they're going to be kind of affected as well. But so,
Oh,
so
by the way, about planets, Pluto is a planet again.
is it? Pluto
Yep,
is a planet again. Can somebody tell Neil deGrasse Tyson, please? Because he was the arsehole that took it away from us in the first place.
Yeah, I wanted to shoot him.
Mandela Effect.
Yeah, I really wanted to shoot him when I found out that he announced that Pluto was no longer going to be a planet. I love Pluto. I don't know why, but I love Pluto.
I was disgusted of like, is it a planet or not? Well, to me, it's always going to be a planet.
Yep.
And
Same.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was the one that decided that it wasn't. So I think somebody should let him know. It is. You might have thought that this is another thing, you see. This is man thinking he knows better than God. There's that man giving it. That isn't a planet, and God gives it, yes, it is. And brings it back to reality. I love that.
Oh,
what are you looking?
Another Rick was saying that Mars is now half the size of our planet.
So I thought it was a third. You thought it was half. You thought it was the same size, and now it's half. So both of you thought it was the same size. Now it's half the size. Oh, I need to investigate what it's like in my reality now. See, yeah, I can't believe I never even thought of that. Well done, another Rick, for even spotting that. Yeah, I know, loyalty makes you family. I found that really ridiculous, because there we are looking for water on Mars, and suddenly it's got a frigging ice cap out the blue. Ours goes, Mars has got one. It's like, what? How could you have been questioning? Because in my reality, we were still questioning if Mars had water on the surface, because they thought it was underneath. But if it was there as a polar ice cap, they'd have been able to see that it has. So yeah.
And how would that even work? Because isn't Mars like a hot planet?
No, so it's not a hot planet. It's a planet that's like us, but it's had its atmosphere taken away. So how it's got any kind of frostiness about it at all with the water? How is the water leaking out? Because if it's all underground, because it's not having clouds, is it? I mean, we're talking hypothetically, obviously, because I don't believe there is a Mars. Not as we've been told, anyway. Not as we've been told. It looks like Earth when you look. And I remember getting so excited at the very first pictures back from Mars. I was beyond myself. I was that excited. I was like, it was a tenor lady moment. Do you know what I mean? I was that thrilled. And then now I don't even believe in it, because you look at the pictures and it looks like Earth. And it looks too much like Earth. I don't believe a word of it. I think that's why our British one that we sent up didn't work. Why they said it crashed. Because I don't think it got there. I don't think anything's got there. When you've got members of NASA saying that like man has never broken out of Earth's atmosphere. Ever. Well,
have they admitted that?
That's why the moon suddenly came into be. The moon in this reality is in our atmosphere. The moon is now in Earth's atmosphere.
What?
Well,
how?
That's bollocks. But they're
how?
saying that they said they've just recently discovered that actually the moon's within our atmosphere. There's no way it can. That's just
if that was the case. If that was the case, how come they weren't saying that in the 90s?
No, of course. Well,
if that was the case,
I know this is what gets.
Yeah, well,
it's all bollocks, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way that it would be in our atmosphere. No way in hell. Otherwise, the moon would be twice as big as it is.
I laughed my socks off when I heard that one. What, are you telling me they've only just found that out? But that's because they said that they can't go. But they're actually saying that they're hoping to go to the moon. That they're hoping to go to the moon if we can break out of our lower Earth orbit. They're still talking like that. So that means that we never...
What do you mean? What do you mean our lower Earth orbit? Because There's been planes that have been able to go on the outskirts of it.
Yeah, but we've never been past it.
Oh yeah.
We have never broken out of our own atmosphere, not ever.
Okay.
And now that's why suddenly in this reality, the Mandela Effect has given us the excuse. It's because the moon is within our atmosphere, which is all rubbish. You know, it's like, I can't, this was one of my passions. I kept myself up to date. I used to watch every single month The Sky at Night. The Sky at Night has been running since the 50s. And Patrick Moore used to present it. He presented it from the 50s until he died. Now, Patrick Moore was a beautiful man. He was a lovely man, and I watched him every week, even after he died. He was supposedly involved in where the moon was supposed to originally land, where the rover, the moon landing was supposed to originally, he plotted where it's supposed to land, and they didn't land in that place. But Patrick Moore was supposed to have decided where it was the people were going to land. And also, like, we've got the Jodrell Bank, which is just down the road from my hometown. It's literally 6 miles away from my hometown. They say it's part of Manchester, but it isn't. It's actually in Cheshire. And that's the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is coming from Jodrell Bank. And I was so excited. And my husband one year, the year that that Britain's Beagle should have landed on Mars, he got me tickets to go to Jodrell Bank for a conference, because they were hoping, obviously, that Beagle would have landed on the moon, on Mars rather, but it didn't. And I think it didn't because there's no Mars there, and that America's never landed anything on Mars, just like they never landed anything on the moon. They can't even make up their mind whether they can see stars from outer space.
Really?
There we are.
I haven't heard that.
Well, if you go back and watch Neil Armstrong and the guys when they first came and they were asked the question, you all looked at each. I mean, really, if you'd just been up into space and been on the moon, you'd be going excited. You'd be going, yeah. You wouldn't have to hesitate and look at Neil Armstrong before answering. And his answer was, I never noticed. I was too busy. Are you freaking telling me what? So he said that. And they all looked and then once he said that, they were all like, no, there wasn't any stars. Nowadays, the astronauts are going, yes, there were stars and they're marvelous. It's like, make your fucking mind up. Is there or isn't there stars? And why do you have to wait until one, you know, if it's a general question asked by a general member of the public and you're having to look at each other, even nowadays, they're having to look at each other to decide whether they can, who's going to say it, and what they're going to say, and the other person goes along with whatever it is the person who's been asking the question says, which is like the man from, for instance, the man who played the astronaut in The Big Bang Theory. He is a real astronaut, and when being asked a question about the stars, when he's being asked a question about whether he could see stars or not, he said yes. Yet Neil Armstrong and the men on his trip to the moon who actually went there, they said no. So what is it? Can you or can't you see stars from out of our atmosphere, from outer space, from inner space, from above the earth? Surely they don't not suddenly not be there, do they, just because you've gone up in a spaceship? Funny thing happened to the moon. The funny thing happened to the moon bit of Venom is that it changed into, it's moved. For me, the man in the moon isn't there anymore, and it's moved further up to me. It's turned further upwards. We seem to be more underneath it than we used to be, which doesn't make sense to me. And I've watched the moon all my life, even from before I could speak. No, they don't know because they haven't been there, bit of Venom. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So the astronauts that are saying that they've been on the space station, they're saying that they can see stars, but after a quiet, like looking at each other, silent, ooh, what are we going to say type look, then one of them speaks up and says, no, yes, I could see loads of stars. And yet back in the day, Neil Armstrong and the people that were supposedly on the moon, they never saw stars. So why? That doesn't make sense, does it? Yeah, I saw that. I'm sorry, I've forgotten. You did. This person did actually tell me. You know the symbols at the bottom of the chat. I can't remember what you said your name was, and I can't read it properly. But you're saying that Crunchy Bee reckons that not only it's not the man in the moon anymore, it's a rabbit on the moon, and it does look a bit like a rabbit. Ooh, it's northeast. The quick. Whoa.
Also, I just want to because I'm not sure who's been in the chat beforehand or who hasn't. But if you're looking for some really, really good information that the media is not showing, I suggest everyone gets this magazine because you can get it at your local chemist. Sorry, not local chemist, sorry, local news agency. It talks about, like, here's an article that I'll just show you quickly. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but here's an article talking about NASA.
Oh yeah, that looks like exactly what we need to see.
Yep. So there's an article on that. Actually, I didn't show people what was in this magazine. Let's have a look. Another. No. Here talks about. Oh yeah, they're talking about learning about how to cure AIDS. I think it is, but that's.
Oh right.
So I'm just trying to see what I'm doing.
Oh dear, it says Fauci. Don't trust. Don't trust.
Probably not. No. And this is all in this. This is all this magazine called Uncensored. Now in Australia, this cost me $10, but in the UK, it would cost you maybe $6. I don't know how much that is in actual, but in your currency, but. If you go by Australian standard of currency, it'd be about $6. But yeah, let me show you a few more things. Oh yeah, here it is. Mass. So you got all that.
Mass manipulation. Yeah.
So there's so much good stuff, and I've only read like a couple of pages, and it blew me away. Like, it was just so much information. I had to stop at 2 pages.
I'm going to say this now: we are not part of the woke community. We have been awake for much longer than the woke.
There's another article.
Guns and everything. Yeah, you're right, because people are all over Britain. Here, all over Britain, people are starting to prepare for whatever is coming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So people in Britain are prepping now, really prepping now. So
yeah, I've started stockpiling food as well.
We have to really think. We have to really think about it. We can't not do anything because we know it's coming. We know it's coming.
Hey, did you guys get the internet block out in December?
Yes.
Did the internet go down for you?
Yes, it did. Yes.
Oh shit. There's a woman that I follow online, and she was talking about, she predicted it a couple of years before it actually happened. She actually predicted that this pandemic was supposed to start to happen in 2021, and it came 2 years earlier than it was meant to.
Right. I've heard that myself, to be honest. I have heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So,
the quick just written, and way too many Jeepsters all over the solar system. Now, I don't know what that is, but Mark Bolan sang a song and it was Jeepsters. The word was Jeepsters that he sang in it, and now it says Jeepsters. I noticed that yesterday when I was watching a video of the number 2s of all the number 2 songs of the 70s, the ones that never quite made number 1. They only got to number 2, and it used to be a Cheapster. I'm a Cheapster for your love. Now it's a Jeepster.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but it makes less sense than Jeepster, more sense than Jeepster for your love. What the fuck is a Jeepster for your love? None of the words make sense, to be fair.
Yeah, true.
Actually makes sense. Yeah, we are always in the waking process, Dark Slayer. I definitely haven't finished waking up myself. It's just that I've been what's classed as awake before this last wave of woke people, and we're all lumped together. So when they disrespect the woke people, we're lumped in with that. Well, we're not woke. That's why I say that's the difference. We're awake and not woke. Because and then the vast majority of people are neither awake or woke.
Dark Slayer, it's quite interesting that you said that, but to be honest, if we keep on raising our vibration, we will become more and more awake. I believe that. It's just at the moment we're switching between the 4th D and the 5th D of the energy, whatever it's called. But we will eventually get there, and we will all be fully awake. And I think we are slowly waking up anyway. So
yeah, but unfortunately, people think this, and yet there's so many of us on the planet, and the vast majority. Like I said last night, they don't even know that there's a red or blue pill to take. They don't even know about the pill. Never mind which one do you want. They don't even know that there is this going on, that we were already awakened to things beforehand. Before the Mandela Effect happened, an awful lot of us were already questioning the usual suspects, the usual conspiracy theories, as they're called. But where are you going to hide the truth? Within a conspiracy theory, obviously, the first thing they say, conspiracy theory, and when they start throwing that at you, you're onto something.
Futuristic. That's probably because the moon landing was all faked. It was all studio made. I don't believe that they went to. I don't believe they went to the moon.
Well, he's actually saying
that's probably why they were uncomfortable.
They do really look uncomfortable as well, futuristic. You're right. I mean, it's quite embarrassing. I feel embarrassed for them 50 years later. Do you know what I mean? I feel embarrassed for them because they're so uncomfortable. They're looking at him and he's looking miserable as fuck, to be fair. I mean, tired, I can understand, but there was no enthusiasm at all from any of them men. They'd just been supposedly the first man on the moon. 2 of them had been on the moon. And yet they couldn't even answer a question spontaneously about whether there were stars or not. And they did look massively uncomfortable. Massively uncomfortable. I'm surprised that it's still out there, that video, to be fair. Because if anybody that sees it cannot, you've got to see what that is not normal reaction to people that have just been the first men to go on the moon. And they can't answer a straight question without looking uncomfortable and looking at each other. So I strongly believe it was all faked because I mean there's no air on the moon, but yet the flag was moving. It was all wavy about.
Yeah. And so that's why it was faked.
And the fact that I always said, where are the stars? Because you can't see them. There were no stars. And then there were those pictures that showed you the grid system that had been put on top of the picture that they removed for us to see the picture. So it's like, oh, it's all just ridiculous. It's too much. Hello, Linda Lava Lamp. You sound like my kind of girl. You sound like my kind of girl.
I like the name.
I like a bit of alliteration. Linda Lava Lamp. See, it sounds quite sexy, actually. Sorry, I seem to be getting off on Linda's name. Excuse me, people. I haven't had a life for some time. Yeah, there we go, bit of venom. It looks so fake, it must be real. That's what Elon Musk said about his car in space. I mean, how could anybody believe that an astronaut figure strapped to a car, and it didn't even have it was a, what's it called, when they got no hood on them. It didn't even have a roof. I didn't even have a roof, and we're all supposed to believe it was blasted into outer space and survived, and he's like driving around outer space.
But you know what, the funny thing is, because people have, unfortunately, I don't mean this in a nasty way, but the general population has dumbed down quite a bit. So I mean, a lot of people would believe that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people did believe it and do believe it, but how? How is that? How the hell is that astronaut still in the car? He's supposed to be strapped in with a safety belt on, and he can't. Oh, it's too much for me. Oh, it's too much. It really is. I can't do it anymore. Somebody was just saying that they'd watched my the video where I'd seen it on a TV program, where they were holding a globe, and it was like it literally sunk to the floor and rolled away. Now they're all bouncing about like no gravity. And there's this globe spinning around in front of the guy. Everything looks great. And then it sinks to the floor and rolls out of vision. Now, my husband's reaction to that was, that's not NASA. That's shit. I've seen that man before. I don't trust anything he says. I don't know where he is, but that's not NASA. It was NASA.
Ashley, Admiral, I'm not even going to try and say the rest. Is saying that the car in space is a Mandela effect for him.
Oh, have you not seen that? You've not seen that, right?
Or her. Him or her, I'm not sure, but yeah.
But yeah, so you've not got any idea about that. Go and hunt it out and laugh. Have a good laugh.
I know, right? She's futuristic. I love her laugh as well.
Oh,
that's why I used to watch a lot of the videos. Because her laugh is just so contagious. Still is, but
I'm a bit cackly. I'm sorry, to be fair. I do get a little bit cackly, but I try and hold on to that. But it just amuses me so much, the fact that anybody can actually believe that happened. Why don't they just send every astronaut off into space like that? No need for the big rocket and all the protection and the suit that you're wearing. No need to be strapped down with massive harness. Just clunk click every trip. Clunk click every trip. All you need. Get in your car. Stick on your seatbelt. We'll fire you up. Job's a good one. There we go. All the money they'd save. All that money they'd save.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
Another thing that's changed as well, lightning.
Yeah, now, it's gone blue, isn't it?
Well, no, not just that, but how it works. Now, lightning used to come from the ground.
Yes, it did.
And go up. It doesn't do that anymore.
It comes from the sky and comes down now.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
The only thing that comes down is the actual fire that comes down. But what I was taught was that the actual electricity, or whatever you want to call it, comes from the ground, and it's actually the flame that comes down.
Yeah.
But they meet in the middle. They meet kind of in the middle, and they come down.
They do meet. I was just doing the same thing with my fingers, even though you can't see me doing it. And it's true. They met each other in my reality too. So yeah, all kinds of things. That's another sky phenomena that's changing, So. Yep. And see, to Admiral Titan, it never came from the ground to him. See, I'm really interested in your world now. Do you know what I mean? I love it when we have differences between us, which I never thought I'd ever be like. Because at first, when you're Mandela affected, it's everything that keeps you that you share that matters. But after a while, it's the differences between us that actually give us some indication as to what really is going on. And unfortunately, there's still too many of the Mandela affected community online that doesn't know that we don't share reality at the same time. And in fact, we've never shared the same reality, not in its entirety.
Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what we need to do, is do a video on that.
I mean, because that is the one thing that us talking to each other and sharing our experiences, that's how we know that I don't think we've ever come from exactly the same reality. And now we don't share the reality at the same time. Changes happen to us at different times and different changes for different people. So when you hear things like Admiral Titan saying this was always reality, I don't go, that's not a Mandela effect, because it's not the same for me. But there's still an awful lot of the community that still think that way. that they think that we've all come from Sagittarius, that we've all shared exactly the same memories from the past. We all share the same changes now, but we're not. We haven't. So looking at Admiral Titan saying about the differences that he has in his world, that's all new and new information, and it makes you want to know more about that. That's how we know that Richard comes from his planet blew up, and it's now in a circle around our Milky Way, his planet. So it's like if we weren't talking to each other, we'd never know that, would we?
A bit of Vernum. It's, I can't think of what it's called, but basically it's actually to do with what's in the actual Earth itself, and it builds up as electricity. I'm not explaining it well, but basically it's something that's in the metal in the ground, and it charges up, and then it kind of comes up out of the ground, and the fire comes down. That's how it's been explained to me.
They actually caught it on film in my reality. Yep. They caught it on film.
It's like a glow. You can glow around you.
Because before that, it was just a theory, and they never proved it. And then they actually captured it on film and said, yes, we were right. It does indeed come from the ground. And so we're like, but I can understand that it's not fair for everybody.
If you're out, like if you're outside when it's lightning and thunder, if you feel like pins and needles in your body, run like hell, because that's the electricity. Because that's the electricity coming through your body as a current. So if you feel that, run like hell, because if you don't, the fire will come down and strike you.
It's it's mad that you would have thought that one thing would be the same in every reality, but it isn't. It isn't, and it's those things that we think are fundamental. We think of weather as being fundamental, a fundamental force. How can weather, a fundamental force, be different between realities? No saltwater crocodiles. They weren't in mine either.
Really?
No, I didn't have saltwater crocodiles for ages, and then suddenly there were saltwater crocodiles before I knew about the Mandela Effect. Yeah, for me,
there's always been salt crocodiles for me. That's interesting.
That's what I mean. It's now the difference between us that we learn. Whereas when we first become affected and we first realise that reality is changing, we feel the need to just concentrate on the things that we share, the shared memories, like 4 people in the car, all of those things, like the Statue of Liberty holding the torch in her left hand, Ellis Island, the flag with the red line being underneath the stars. I mean, all these are American things, but the things that we know. Do you know what I mean? Because we've seen them that many times. These things were in films. They're still all over the place, so we know what they used to look like. And
America used to have 2 states as well. 52 states.
Yeah, that changed for me. That was one of my first changes in the 80s. It changed from 52 to 50. By the way, while we're talking about American changes, one of the freakiest ones for me is the fact that the White House no longer has a dome on it.
No.
The White House.
I'm looking that up.
White House used to have a dome. Now it isn't. It's that other building. The Supreme Court has the dome. White House doesn't. And I lost my mind when that was one of my first things that I saw when I first realised I was Mandela affected. The White House, because on Men in Black, on the front of Men in Black, it used to show the firing of the spaceship firing on the dome of the White House.
Oh my God!
I know, no dome.
There's no dome at all.
No,
what the fuck?
Not at all.
There's nothing.
The Supreme Court building, but it's not on the White House anymore. Not on the White House anymore. And I remember sending a picture of it to my friend in America, and she didn't. To her, she didn't understand what the problem was. because that was the White House. It's like, and I couldn't say to her, but it's not my White House because I'm English, and how could I start getting into the Mandela Effect that I didn't understand? But I did send it to a couple of my American friends, hoping that they go, what the fuck? Where is the dome? And they didn't. But to me, the White House not having a dome, I'm surprised I've never mentioned it before. It's definitely one of those things that freaks me out, because we get to see the White House quite a lot here. Do you know what I mean? Whatever goes on in America, we have to know about it in England, in Britain. So we get to see the White House all the time. So I know fine well it had a dome and it doesn't anymore. A person is smart, people are stupid. I love that. Another Rick. That is one of the best lines ever. I love that.
It's very true, though.
Oh, it really is. I agree. But then, if you think you know it all, if you've got to the point where, and I don't mean about, obviously not Mandela Effect, but there are some people that think they've worked it out and they know it's CERN and it, but the vast majority of them admit we haven't got the bloody faintest idea what it really is and what's called and what it means.
CERN definitely didn't start the Mandela Effect. I don't care what people say; they did not start it.
No, it
because
didn't.
of that. Because if that's the case, then why has the Mandela Effect been going on since the 80s?
Yeah, exactly.
Like for Ashley, it's been going on since the 80s. So I mean, CERN's only been around for how many years?
Well, it's been 6, isn't it now? Apparently, that it's because we're in 21. It was like 2015, 16, when most people had, when this wave of changes hit us, because something big happened to really push it along. But I know people have told me that they are older than me and that they had changes in the 60s and things like that. So there we are. Men in Black, the galaxy is on Orion's belt. Right. Even that's interesting because, it's all interesting on many levels, isn't it? But yet the White House no longer has that dome on the top of it. And it does piss me off. I'm surprised I've never mentioned it before, because I see it on a monotonously with regular monotony, and I'm waiting for it to come back. But oddly enough, the layout, the plan for the White House and the plan for the Senate building are exactly the same. Exactly the same. It's the same plan. So if you have a look at both buildings from above, which is what I was doing to try and work out what the hell was going on, they look the same. It's just the dome's gone. Very weird. So any of you Americans out there, did you already know it? Did you have a dome on the White House in your original reality? Has it disappeared? Is it still there? These questions.
I don't believe in the simulation theory. It's too far-fetched for my liking.
Well, I don't believe it because that's the one that they're pushing. When Neil deGrasse Tyson is pushing that, I tend to think, I don't believe you. I'm not going to believe that. So, no, science trying to explain this away, they can't. They haven't rested on anything themselves yet. You know what I mean? They haven't rested on anything themselves. So Brian Cox, Professor Brian D. Ream Cox, was on our national television in the morning the other day telling everybody that we're probably living in a holographic universe. So which is it? Are you going to make your mind up, professionals, while you're busy bandying these things about?
However, I don't think they really know what is what, to be honest. I think they're just making stuff up because they don't know.
Well, they absolutely are, yes. It's just theories, but then again, it's still the theory of evolution. It's not a proven fact. It's still the theory of evolution. And even that, I mean, even, you're not really told this, but Charles Darwin, first of all, he continued I think it was his grandfather's work, who'd already started it. And even he thought that it didn't always fit with his own theory. There were bits of it that didn't fit properly, but the scientists took it and ran with it, didn't they, clearly? And like I touched on this earlier on, I mean, we are definitely not just, we don't come into the theory of evolution, and neither do dolphins, actually, because with the theory of evolution, it's solely about survival. survival of the fittest, and survival and how we adapt to a certain way of living, and that niche that we fit into. Well, we don't fit into any of those niches because we're way beyond just surviving. We're intelligently above the just surviving level. We are not part of that evolution system, because dolphins are also the very same, because their intelligence is above mere survival. And that's all that evolution is about, the survival and the survival of the fittest. It's not about anything else.
But in saying that, what about I think it's monkeys or gorillas or whatever it is? Apparently we're close to them.
We are very genetically close to them. Yes, we are. We over 90, I think it's 95% we share of our genetics with them. But you also have to remember that we do share genetics with wheat. We have the same genes. We have the genetics of wheat within us. You know, creation.
Really?
Yeah, this is what's always fascinated me, because I mean, genetics was one of my massive passions. And yes, we have wheat as in our DNA, the same DNA as wheat, because there's only a set amount. Do you know what I mean? So if it was all about just evolution, why would we have genes of wheat in us? There's an awful lot of things like that in our dormant genetics. Because obviously there's a lot of our genes are actually switched off. They say it's because we evolved, and as we evolved, we turned them off. Well, why the fuck would we have genes of wheat within our system if it was just purely about, well, we're very similar to a chimpanzee, so we must have come from chimpanzees? Well, did we come from wheat originally then? Because those same genetic patterns are still within our body. They're still within our body. In fact, if you look at the gestation period of human beings, chickens, pigs and frogs, up to a certain week, they all look the bloody same. They all look the same. I mean, I've been into genetics. That's why I was fascinated with it. It's things like that. It makes you question already. It made me question, why would a frog, a chicken, a human being, and what was the other thing I said? Joel's 9% wheat. Futuristic. You're funny. You're funny, you are. I love that. Joel's 9% wheat. But that's genes that are supposedly turned off because we don't need them anymore. But why would we need the genes of wheat in our DNA? It's almost like we actually hold creation of everything within our own DNA. Very strange. What? Hey, Voynich. No, good lad. Never do that. Never do that. Wheat, yes. Weed, no. Maybe that's why we're wheat intolerant, because we're eating ourselves.
Makes sense. That would make sense.
It makes about as much sense as everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. I'm sorry. I think I lost the plot a bit there. But yeah, wheat is within our genetics, within our genetic makeup. So it's all way, 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 way above our understanding. We can't even begin to understand any of it. And I think it's quite arrogant of us as a species to think we've cracked the case. You know, how can we? How can we think that? Well, yeah, because we do futuristic, because wheat is a plant. So that's what I'm saying. I think that we haven't just got wheat. We've got all kinds of other bits of DNA in our still attached to us, but not that's working at the moment. I don't know. Maybe in time we're all, the genes of wheat will switch back on and we'll develop in a completely different way. Like they say, ears of wheat. Maybe we'll have ears of wheat. Who's to know? Who's to know? And who's to say we won't? Because reality is changing. So anything is now possible. But that was one of my massive passions, genetics and biology, because it brings up so many other questions. You can't. That's the thing about science, and I'm saying that from a person who loved science, is that you never get answers. You only ever get more questions, because even answers lead to more. Even answers lead to more questions, always, always. And quite frankly, if they didn't, life would be very, very, very boring, because it's only in searching that we actually learn, isn't it? We have to actively go out and learn. And if it was all just all sorted, and what would be left? What would be left? Learning to me is, it's like soul food. It's like soul food. You should never, ever stop learning, ever, never stop. I mean, I watch engineering programs because I like them. And I started watching them because I didn't know anything about engineering. So I thought, I'll have a look at that. And now I watch engineering programs because it feeds me information, because I get joy out of that, out of learning about things I should really know nothing about. I've got no business knowing anything about, and it does me no good whatsoever. The things the things I know about engineering, I'm never ever going to put any of them into practice. I can't do anything with it, but I still like to learn it for the sake of learning. And the minute you think you've learned it all, that's when you really are in a bad way. You know nothing if you think you've learned it all. Let thy hairs be like the wheats in the fields. Oh, Voynich. Oh, he's on fire tonight. The lad's on fire. Look at that. Absolutely on fire. So are you feeling all right there, Joel?
Yeah, just reading the comments and listening to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like silly o'clock in the morning for you now, isn't it?
Yeah, but I actually had a sleep before your first live stream, so I'm a little tired, but not like So I'm okay. My sleeping pattern's all over the place these days.
Yeah, because it really is silly o'clock in the morning for you. But
it's 8 o'clock. It's
it's 8 o'clock the next day, and you've had a bit of a sleep for my first one. So you're doing real well.
Well, I usually get about 4 hours sleep if I'm lucky. Sometimes I only get 2. So.
Well, that is awful. That I don't think I could.
You get used to it. You get used to it.
I couldn't deal with that. And Admiral Titan, I'm kind of where you are. He's saying that he used to like learning, but now everything is changing, so I don't care much about how things work. And I'm with you there. I'm totally with you, because I've stopped keeping up with the latest news on genetics and things like that. I've stopped because I don't keep up with what they're doing in space. I'm not excited about anything to do with us being on Mars, because I don't believe in it anymore. And that's how I feel. I've stopped learning my passions because they're not real. The things that were my passions aren't real. Things like knowing what the human body looks like, and my passion for biology and genetics, it's because of that original one. I don't feel like I'm learning anything from it. It's an abomination to me now when those sort of things change, and I don't even keep up to date with those anymore, because it's shit. It's not my reality. It's not new developments within my own reality. Not at all. Mars isn't even red. Well, it is pretty much purgatory, Prel. You're right. I love that Joel's in the future. Another Rick, I'm so with you there. I love it. I love that fact. I think it's crazy. Joel's in the future. He can talk to us from the future. You see, now I'm an adult and I understand that at the time difference situation. As a kid, I really couldn't get my head around that. Couldn't understand why times were different around the world. But
yeah, it was like the whole. It was like the whole Santa Claus going around the world in one night, but none of us could really understand how that would happen. Now we could.
Well, at the age of 3, my mum started to explain it to me in terms of the different time changes around the world, and I mean, she did explain it to me like that, but I still didn't get it. To me, I reconciled it with the fact that Santa's actually magic, so of course he got round the world. That's how I reckon. I still believe that today.
Yeah.
Because I do. I believe in the magic of Father Christmas. I believe in the magic of Santa. Don't be telling me.
Bit of a vermin. It is quite bright because it's daytime. That's why.
What time does it start to come light for you at the minute, Joel?
I think it was around 6 o'clock. It wasn't long after I started talking to you again that it started lightening up. But it's starting to get dark early now too. Like at 6 o'clock at night, it's starting to get dark.
Aren't you going? You're going into autumn though now, aren't you? You're autumn going into winter, aren't you?
Yeah.
So they're opposite to each other. Yeah.
I don't understand why we don't call autumn fall, because America calls it fall.
I know, but to be fair, love, I'm English, so don't get me on that one and their pronunciations. I'll be here on a different topic. I'm English, so some of the things they say drive me insane. Because
so you call autumn as well then?
Yeah, it's autumn for me. Yeah. It's
that's
autumn
interesting.
For us here.
That's interesting because I thought I always thought that side of the world was all about fall.
No, it's not like that. No, it's autumn for us too. Yeah. It's
okay.
Autumn. I can understand why they call it fall, because the leaves fall. But
yeah, I always get told off by people when I accidentally say fall instead of autumn.
You say what?
Sometimes I'll accidentally say fall instead of autumn because I watch so much American stuff that it's just part of my.
Sometimes, it just comes in. No, I don't want to upset any of my, my American friends out there, but sometimes, I want to come on and tell people how to pronounce things, because they say Shire, Cheshire, and it's Cheshire, Nottingham, not Shire. So it's just sh at the end, but you can't write sh. You can't actually write sh.
But in saying that, there's some things that the English says and it drives me bonkers. Like vitamins. It's actually vitamins because the I.
No, it's
vitamins. The I.
No. See, that's it with American and British. They say when we have it as like mall, they'll say mall and we'll say mal. So it's so they pronounce it slightly. They pronounce it the opposite way around to the way we do that sound. Believe me, there's a lot of cultural differences between America and Britain. A lot of cultural differences, because we live that far away from each other. We might be related way back in the past with our European genes from back in time, but culturally we're completely different, and our words are different. Now,
it's like with privacy. The English says privacy.
Yeah, it's privacy to us. I tell you something that
doesn't make sense though. Like to me, that doesn't make sense. Like it's private. It's a private thing.
To us, it's being patriotic. But we found ourselves saying patriotic because we hear Americans so often. But in Britain, in English language, it's patriotic. But we even find ourselves saying patriotic now instead of ah.
Oh, okay.
Ah or a. You see, we're taught at school the alphabet as A, B, C, D, but we're also taught what it sounds like. Like A sounds like ah, B sounds like b, C sounds like k, D sounds like d. And that's how we're taught, or how we were in my day. So we know that when you say something and you pronounce the letter A as A, we do it as A, the opposite way around. And I can't think of any words at the moment because I just can't think of any. But for any Brit that's first got a device of any kind and it says, you pick English and it says United States English or UK English, we're like, UK, we want UK English. And it's literally the only time I think that we're proud to be English, to be fair. We haven't got a lot to be proud of.
It makes sense when you say it like that.
So, and things like that, it's the cute, like Americans say aluminum and we say aluminium.
Yeah, I say aluminium as well.
Aluminium, and the cutest one, and I mean it in the sweetest way possible. When somebody that you don't know breaks into your home and steals things, in Britain we get burgled. In America they get burglarized, and that is just the cutest thing ever to me. Burglarized is the cutest word ever for an awful thing. Being burgled is an awful thing. So burgled is how we say it, and they say burglarized. And another thing is,
I think I'm saying it wrong. Erin. Yeah. She wants to join the live show.
I can't see her. Hold on a minute. I'm going to put the link like a gazillion comments away. I'll put them back in so you can join. Right. So let's do that. Yeah. So I love some like things like they acclimate, whereas we acclimatize. Things like that. You know, it's the weirdest things that.
The thing is, it's not really a hoax because then how do you explain personal Mandela effects happening?
No, I'm not having no, that's not happening. I'm not having him. Not at all. I did think that I wanted to actually talk to him, but I don't want to talk to him.
But anyway, it would be interesting to see why you think that though.
He's actually known. He's actually known throughout the community, and he's not nice. I'm not. I've got to the point. I used to think that I'd have him on and I'd talk to him about it, but no, he's not affected. He's not affected, and he cannot prove to us because he says he wants to prove to us that the Mandela effect isn't real. Well, he can't. So no, I'm not going to have him. I mean, I've blocked him. What was his name? Is
Aaron.
Him isn't Erin Rocker. It's Joey. Is it Joey Rocker? I think. And he's not very nice to people.
Oh, really?
And he's called us all kinds of names. He's called us all kinds of names. And he's been very disrespectful about it. See, before I was prepared to listen to him, but then when I actually heard and watched some of the things that he'd actually said about us, no, because he's not giving us any respect whatsoever. If he wanted to prove that we're wrong, first of all, he can't because we're not. But secondly, I'm not going to let anybody talk to me that's disrespected me and the people that I'm in contact with by calling us names. There's no way. I mean, he's not doing it with any kind of respect or open mind or heart. So no, I'm not having him talking. No. Although I did originally say that he could come on and I would have a talk with him and debate it. But I'm not debating it. It's happening to us, whether he says it is or not. He can't. He wants to come on and prove it's wrong. Well, you can't. So no, you're not. It's as simple as that. He said. He
have you heard what he's got to say though, or?
Yes, I watched it, and I only watched one, and it was too much for me because I can't really watch people that try and debunk because they talk rubbish. I mean, he uses. Oh, I can't. I'm not even giving him. I'm not even giving it him. No, I'm not having it. He doesn't even accept that there's. He doesn't accept. He doesn't believe it. He won't even look at residual evidence. He's not interested at all, other than to disrespect us. I mean, he's called us all kinds of vile things. So no, he's not even coming with a clean heart. He's coming after totally disrespecting us. So no, I'm not. After hearing and looking at what he's done, no. And he says that people won't debate him. We don't want to debate you. We're not here to debate. I'd chat openly, but if you're coming on saying I want to come on and prove that it's not real, well, you're not coming on, are you? You know what I mean? No, you're not. Because he won't on anything that he's ever been on. He just talks over and says the same things and talks about the same things over and over again. So he won't listen to you anyway. There's no point. If I thought for 1 minute it might go somewhere, I'm not here to try and prove to anybody else the Mandela effect is real. I'm not trying to prove to him it's real. What I'm doing is talking to other Mandela affected people. People who choose to come here to talk to each other. But neither you or anybody in the chat wants to try and prove it to anybody else. So why should we let somebody to come on who will not even listen to what we've got to say and just wants to tell us why we're wrong? So no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not.
But really, we need to stop calling it the Mandela effect. Really,
I agree, but it's already the thing that people know it as. That's the problem. I know. Great. The fact that none of us like it is neither here nor there because of bloody Fiona Broom. None of us like it. called the Mandela Effect. None of us do.
Talking about Fiona Broome, do you think the Mandela conference will come on this year?
Yes, I do, because they've been pretty good, actually. Our ones have been pretty good. The one the other year that unfortunately Cynthia Sue Larson, I'm afraid to say, was part of that, I was surprised, because she's a really good woman. I mean, she's an actual physicist and everything. She knows her stuff.
Oh wow!
But it was awful. There were people on there that, you know, really shouldn't have been anything to. It was very little to do with the Mandela Effect and a lot to do with a lot of other things. So,
Yeah.
and they had on somebody who was a Mandela Effect denier. Why on earth would you have that? We had one woman talking and telling us all that it was all our memory. So I think from there on in, it's what I think what was said last year was that what we'll do is we'll have like 24 hours, maybe a bit longer, where everybody has the chance to do things like this, you know, where it's actually, we're on talking with each other, and like we'll have an hour, and then it'll go on to the next load of Mandela, you know, actually talking about certain things, how we got, each person giving their statement about how they became affected, what the biggest Mandela effects are, all that kind of thing. And then people that have, there are some people that show residue, they can come on and show residue, and that we can, as a community, everybody plays their part. And that's easily done over.
And that's what they're planning, or?
I think so, yeah. It's definitely
Okay.
going to be where we've got some kind of an open mic situation, and, you know, where we go, we take it in turns around our community, because the people that are on here talking to me, most of us go to the same other sites. We talk to the same other people. We've met each other at other people's live chats. We talk to each other in other people's live chats. So we've got our own little, it's a little family situation going on, isn't it? And then you've got the wider community at large. So I think that's how it'll go. I mean, I think the people that I know that, like Brian, I don't think for 1 minute he wants to organise anything as such, and we can't.
No, he's too busy.
And we've also got to the point where it's hard. It needs to be online, because we come from all over the place. I mean, you're in Australia, I'm in Britain. We've got our American friends. We had somebody from China or somewhere like that before was in our chat. I can't remember where they come from, but it's like an Oriental type script that they were writing. And so you've got to, you know, we can't go to a Mandela Effect conference if we're not in that country. And at the moment, around the world, we can't travel, can we? So we have to do something online. So I do think that that will be happening. We just got to decide. I mean, I say we, but I think that somewhere along the line, we're all going to have to say, right, are we going to pick a date, and then let's just do 24 hours. It doesn't have to be massively. We don't want a massive big headache for anybody. What we want is just ordinary people, like doing what we're doing now. Or maybe you want to talk about something specific, you can talk about something specific, and we just take it in turns, take a few hours, and then we'll move on to that other person that's now doing a live stream. And we do that. So we get people that just talk about body changes. We get people that just talk about Bible changes. We get people that talk about all kinds of things. So I think we'll do a round robin type thing over the internet this year. I think that would be the best thing for most people, because we can all be involved that way. We can all join in, whether we want to talk live or just be part of the chat situation. But I am not allowing anybody to be coming on here that is not Mandela affected and talking. No, we're not here for that, are we? We're not here to prove ourselves in any shape or form. So no.
I don't think it's a glitch, but I also don't think it's deliberately either. Bit of Vermin was asking, is it a glitch or deliberately? I don't think it's either. I think it's just happening.
Yeah, I agree. They call it a glitch in the matrix. I understand that. It makes perfect sense. It's a good way of communicating, but it doesn't mean that we think that it is a glitch in the matrix. It's like, we don't know what it is, but the majority of it, I think, is normal. It's a natural cycle that we've been in before, and I don't know that for a certain fact, but hey.
However, in saying that, when it comes to glitches, I have seen a few glitches. But that's completely different to the Mandela Effect.
I totally get that. Strange things happening in the world and Mandela effects are kind of similar but not the same, isn't it? Similar and not the same. Right. Well, I definitely need to have another brew. I'm not gonna bring it to an end. We've only done 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I'm gonna keep.
Sure.
You all right to keep going while I just make a brew?
Yep. And then when you come back, I'm gonna go and have a coffee.
Yep, that's fine by me. That's totally fine by me. And then we can keep this open. Everybody on the chat can keep chatting to each other, because that's ultimately what we do this for. So everybody can be in contact with each other, isn't it? Because we can be in contact with each other in real time. And ultimately, if anybody who is Mandela affected here would like to come and join us live, you're perfectly welcome to. I will drop a link in when I come back. Please join us. Don't be shy. If you're here, boy, you're very welcome. Anybody's very welcome, I can assure you. So I'll leave you in Joel's capable hands while I go and I bugger off and treat myself to a coffee. I'll be back shortly, people. Love you all.
Okay, so while Ash is away, I'd like to just talk a bit more about this magazine, because it is absolutely fantastic. Now, for those that have only just came onto the chat, I'm not sure exactly who has been on and who hasn't. Now, there's a lot of truth that's going on in the media, and that isn't going on in the media. It's been censored, and it's a magazine called Uncensored, for those that don't know about it. So I was talking before about some of the articles in this magazine. It's fantastic. I've only read like maybe 2 or 3 pages of it. But it talks about Joe Biden's China genocide against its own people and different norms. So this is what the magazine looks like inside. But this magazine comes out every 2 months. I've only bought it for the first time. It talks about John Lennon too, which is interesting. So I haven't, like I said, I've only read about 2 or 3 pages. So I've been meaning to read the rest of this, but I just haven't had the chance. So here is about the frontline doctors and FBI. There's a big long article for people to read. I might even try and scan some of these documents and somehow find a way to put them up online. I shouldn't really, because it takes away from the actual company that prints them. But hopefully, by me sharing some of this information, and sharing the title of this magazine, hopefully, more sales will happen, so they can keep printing this magazine, because there's just so much information that's in this magazine that is being censored on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. They're really going hard with the censorship now. Even some Mandela Effect channels are getting shut down, which really sucks. Well, here we go. Here's another censorship thing with YouTube. So I'm just trying to... They also talk about the COVID situation as well. So there's just so much information that... So here's another one. And it also talks about Bill Gates, about Trump's energized election loss, which I haven't read that yet, but I see so much of it on YouTube, that I feel like I've kind of caught up with what's going on in America. But I mean, if anyone's from America, I'd love to be able to talk to them firsthand as well, but to find out exactly what's going on in America, because I'm only hearing bits and pieces especially from Liberty Haynouts. I think that's her channel. I hear some things from her channel as well, but I'm only hearing bits and pieces of what's going on. So it would be nice to hear from firsthand from people what's actually going on over there. Because yeah, but yeah, this magazine, it's, from what I've read, it's fantastic. And I was talking to a woman from my local train station. She was actually the one that got me onto this magazine. So if you can get it at your local, what's it called? I said it before. My brain's not with it today, unfortunately. You should be able to get it at wherever magazines are sold, though. I mean, like I said, I got mine for like $10. So in your country, it's probably a little bit cheaper. It could be a bit more expensive. I don't know. Just going into the chat to read. Aaron, well, as Ashley was saying, apparently you have been disrespectful on other channels, and that's why you weren't allowed to join the chat. But by all means, when I do my live stream, if you want, by all means, you can come on and say, because I'd be interested to hear why you think it's a hoax, because I'm very open to what people think. So by all means.
Well, I've just put him in timeout again because I don't want him talking. I don't actually want to ban him altogether, but I don't want him talking on at all. He said he's been nothing but respectful, but his actual, if you go and have a look at any of his videos, you can see, I think his actual original YouTube channel was taken down, so maybe he hasn't got all of the videos that he had before. I'm not sure, but they weren't nice and they were disrespectful to us. So no, just.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna go and have a coffee. I was just showing anyone that was not here before. I was just showing them the Uncensored magazine, just a few extra pages, because I didn't really show much the last time. So
it's really worth showing them. Absolutely, if we can get other people onto that kind of thing, all good. So you go have your coffee.
I know that I'm pretty much plugging this magazine, but it's the only way that people are going to get a lot of truth and what's happening in the world.
So yeah,
everything's just getting censored.
We'll plug that as often as possible. Right, you go get your coffee.
Okay.
And I shall see you momentarily.
Okay, I'll see you then.
All right. Somebody was saying, right, future I don't know Erin, why is she not welcome? She's not welcome, but Erin is actually Joey Rocker, a man. Erin is not a girl at all. So it's he's Joey Rocker is not nice. He's known throughout our community for not being very nice and not being very nice about or to us. So at one time, yes, I did think that I would be happy to have him on, and I'd be happy to have him on, but I'm actually not, because he's not nice. So no, he's not respectful. So no, I don't want that at all. Not at all. So let me have a look. I actually let him speak once, and he talked about volcanoes, and that was really, really enjoyable. Thoroughly enjoyed that chat, even though at the moment volcanoes have been erupting the way he said that they didn't. They have actually been, in this reality. They are now erupting spectacularly from the top, which is something that Joey said wasn't happening. And I actually agreed that, because I'd never really seen it happen like that out the top, but we actually have volcanoes all around my reality spurting out lava from the top. So I'm going to remove him altogether from the studio because he's backstage. No, I'm sorry. I don't want him talking, so I'm just going to remove him from there. Yeah, so I'm not happy about that, because he's not been respectful at all to any of us. So hey ho. Well, apparently futuristic. Joel was saying that that it's from America, so you should be able to get it online. I should imagine you should be able to get that online, because I'm going to go and have a look for it online anyway. So yeah. You saw Fly My Pretty's fly residue on? Really? Whoa, dearest Dawn. Oh, you see. Oh, I got all excited then just because somebody had seen it. It doesn't mean reality's come back, but it's really good, isn't it, when we see our thing, the thing we know. And believe me, that video, that film is not the same film. It's nothing like the original film. It's really quite disturbing. Really quite disturbing. Well, they're not doing any more, dearest Dawn. They're actually coming from spewing out of the top. Like I've said before, the Mandela Effect is doing everything back to front. So Joey, I was totally with him. Yeah, they were just, and in fact, the world is full of lava tubes, especially Hawaii, where he comes from, underground, where it all leaked before. It didn't come charging out of the top. That was make believe. But in this reality, the reality Joey doesn't believe in, it now spews out of the top and is cascading right the way down the side of volcanoes. There's a couple of them actually. I can't rightly remember where they are and what they're called, but there are a couple of them erupting lava from the top. So there's a change in his reality that he probably won't acknowledge or recognize. That's a change in his own reality there, but he probably won't acknowledge or recognize that. So I'm definitely gonna so let me see what we were saying. Yeah, so yeah, it was lava tubes, even in my reality. But like I was saying before, the thing about the Mandela effect that we know, living it, and the things that change around us, in the reality that I used to come from, when nothing at all, nothing, and not even light, could escape a black hole. Not even light could escape a black hole. Now they even know that light bends on its way out of a black hole in this reality, the one that I'm in. That's the mirror opposite, the total opposite of the reality that we knew it to be. It was impossible even for light to escape a black hole. And now, not only does light escape black holes, but it bends on the way out. Now, it's those sort of Mandela effects that, you know, these debunkers don't even want to start to begin to talk about. Well, but how can they? They're that busy saying it's not real. They don't seem to understand that just because your reality doesn't show you the evidence. Like I said, the person that actually posted me this reality's version of California Dreaming, like you knobhead, I already know that that's this reality. It's just not mine. It's not my reality, and no, I can't show you my version of it because I'm not in that reality anymore. But it doesn't mean that I was wrong. It doesn't mean that you're right. We're both right. Your reality is your reality. My reality is my reality. But to actually go out of your way and say, I want to come on to prove that it isn't real, when we're living through, you know, the disrespect. This man has hung around. He's hung around the Mandela Effect community. He's been involved in live chats. And it doesn't matter what we say or what we do. He still won't listen to any of it. He takes absolutely no notice whatsoever. So but that's why I won't speak to him. So I'm just going to unmute you, Joel. There we are, you're muted. And I'm going to actually, there we go. I'm sorry, come back with a big thank you on his screen, but I'm not letting him on. And if he comes back, I'm going to just block him. I keep throwing him out the studio, but he keeps pressing on the link to come in, and I don't even want to talk about him, and I'm now angry and wound up and talking about him. So can we please throw something at me that's totally different? So I don't have to think about the man. So throw any topic out there, anything. The ball's yours. Go for it. And we'll talk about that.
Well, I was just talking to my mum, and she said apparently there's a thing that you can put on your TV that will basically allow the government to watch to know what you're watching on TV now.
What? They're being open about it. Even your mum knows about that. Whoa, Joe.
Sorry, what was that?
I said even your mum knows about that.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
And I didn't know. I didn't even know about that. But apparently it was on the news.
That's just crazy. That even they now have the right to look through your camera, you and your phone. I mean, what the hell?
No, your TV.
Oh, on your TV. I mean, I did know that they could hear everything, that everything you said on a Samsung TV. If you do voice activation on any TV, it hoards all of everything that you say in your living room.
Oh, screw that.
I once had a massive row with a good friend of mine because of that. And he said, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so what does it matter? I said, Wayne, they're listening to you in your living room. Well, I'm not a terrorist. It's going to bother me, isn't it? Are you mad? You've just heard me say, you're just literally saying you don't mind that the government, or in fact, all of your conversations are being sent to some storage place that we don't even know where it is. Yeah. And Samsung were very open about doing that. They didn't. And you don't know. I mean, they did hide. They did hide it. They didn't like.
The thing is, you don't know why they're keeping that information either. They could use that to put on you later on in life.
They can do anything, can't they? Yeah. About 2011, 2012, I watched a video where it showed this old woman in Russia, her in her living room. And that was leaked footage that somebody had taken while spying into her house. So if they're actually spying and taking videos of an old lady in Russia, why would you want to do that? It's an old lady in Russia. Why are you spying on her? So if they could do that,
it's a bit sick.
If they could do that in 2011 and record it and put it onto the internet, what can they do now? Well, we all know that our phone listens to us because we can have a conversation with somebody about something, and very shortly afterwards it pops up as an advert for that very thing on Facebook, on YouTube, probably on a lot of other social media now.
Oh, but I don't. Did you hear they want to do something to our brain to be able to listen to our thoughts now?
What?
Yep.
Listen to our thoughts?
I kid you not. So basically, you know, like how you have that moment when someone's pissing you off and you go, oh, I'd like to kill him or her. Well, even though you're not going to do it, the moment that you think that, the police will be on your door.
Mad, because there's an actual film about that. There's a film about that, but that's now reality. Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
They're making it a reality.
That is really, really scary. Yes, futuristic. Yep. Please do leave me the link for the weather and the volcanology and the volcanoes. Yes, please. Put the link for me, please. I appreciate that. Oh, it's all scary stuff. Loyalty makes your family saying it's actually telepathic at this point, technology. And to be fair, I think I'll agree with that.
You know, I remember back in the 90s thinking, oh, the 2000s would be amazing. You'd be able to have flying cars and all this. And now I think how stupid I was for wanting all this crap.
Yeah, but we all thought that. I mean, people of my age, we thought we were going to end up like the Jetsons. You know what I mean? We were all going to be wearing these fantastic space clothes. And the only thing space age that is anything remotely like we were shown is this thing I'm holding in my hand. This is directly from Star Trek. Do you know what I mean? This is like beyond Star Trek. We can talk to each other across the world. You're in Australia, and here we are in real time talking to each other face to face. That's like a mad, crazy scientific dream that we never thought could ever possibly come true.
Well, it's funny that you said that. 'Cause, Tesla technology was around in the 1920s? I think 1920s or 1930s. Tesla, basically, we should have had free energy 100 years ago.
Yes, we should. Yes, we should.
But the thing is, they blocked that information. They shut the project down because they realized they're going to lose a lot of money.
They wanted money. I mean,
Yep.
Talking about Tesla, me, I want to ask you a question, everybody. Who invented Tesla cars? Who invented Tesla cars?
Wasn't it Elon Musk?
Yeah. No, it wasn't Elon Musk.
Oh, okay.
It was. I'm just waiting to see the people in the chat to see what they say before I actually tell you what it was in my reality. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't in my reality. Elon Musk in my reality was the very first. There's two men. I can't remember the name now. It escapes me. Two men started Tesla and they did it on their own money and they were doing really well. But during their first round of getting financial help, Elon Musk was one of their first wave of donors. He was one of the first donors who gave money to that as a project. And then from there on in, he kicked one of them out. The other one stayed for a bit longer. And then he kicked that person out. And now he is like known as the CEO of Tesla, but he never was in my reality. He took over from the two people that actually set it up and pretty much shat on them from a great height. But he was just in the first wave of donators and then took over and became the CEO and kicked them out. So I'm interested to know. And Elon Musk did to me also. Elon Musk popped out of nowhere to me too.
A lot of people are saying that, actually.
He is a blended reality person for me, definitely.
Well, I only heard about Elon Musk about 3-4 years ago, so...
Yeah, me too. Never heard of him before. So all this, him now, he's been sending up rockets to the space station all along, apparently. And yet I'd only heard from him about 4 years ago, and I follow everything about space. So he's definitely a blended reality person. Another blended reality person is Melinda Gates for me. Bill Gates never had a wife in my reality. He was just sad old Bill Gates. And suddenly this woman, Melinda, turned up. And this was before I knew about the Mandela Effect. And I'm like, what? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? Well, when did that change? When did he add her to it? When did he get married? And all of that went on. So that's a definite Mandela Effect. And in fact, I think for me, Tesla is a Mandela Effect. Because I didn't know anything about Tesla. Because it was hidden from us. Like you said, Paul, everything about Tesla was hidden from us. So I, about 5 years ago, found out about Tesla when I asked my grandson when he was 11 who was his inspiration. He said Tesla, and I said, "Wow, you know about Tesla?" Because most people don't know about Tesla because we weren't taught about his involvement in my reality growing up when we were learning about electricity and all of that, and he was never brought into it. Ever. We were never taught about Tesla. And then suddenly I'm watching as much as I can about Tesla without realizing that to me is a Mandela effect now. Whereas I just thought they were just letting us know about him, that more information was coming out about him after having been hidden from us. But now I think he's a Mandela effect for me, a blended reality.
Well, I learned about all that through a YouTube channel called Truth Stream Media.
Right.
They've got a lot of things that I didn't even know about. They're a good channel.
Lisa's saying she thought Tesla died young when he died quite old in my reality.
No, he did. He did die young. He died young.
So he died young to you. And he died, and Lisa, I think, Lisa, isn't it you that actually shares a lot of the same reality as me? Do you come from the Orion, the original Orion? Is it you? I'm fairly sure it's you, and we actually share quite a lot of our original reality. But that's totally different. To me, you and Lisa are saying he died young. To me, he died old. But then I've only really known about Tesla for about 5 years. Before that, I'd never heard of him. So he could be a reality. He could be a Mandela effect, or maybe it is just the fact that, for me, my reality, that his work was hidden and it was starting to be leaked out again. Because obviously the Tesla cars and everything, those two guys that developed the Tesla cars, they knew all about Tesla. So I just thought that I'd only just found that out, but that it was because it's only recently been released. So even though, even then we're not really, if it wasn't for you and Lisa saying that he died young to you, that's thrown another aspect of Tesla into the mix. But we all know Tesla was very different.
Because I remember he died shortly after his project was shut down. That's what I heard from Truth Stream Media, though.
Yeah, that it was shut down because to give us all free energy, and his backers went, free energy, fuck that, we're not backing you anymore. Yeah. Wasn't it Jake?
Ironically enough, they're starting to do that now, though.
The what?
They're starting to do the free energy now because we're running out of resources.
I don't think anybody's actually giving us anything at the minute. Are you getting that? Are you getting free stuff in your reality?
I can't remember what country, what state it is, but there is a state in Australia where they're doing renewable energy now.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Look at us.
So,
with that busy chewing that we're not speaking. Jump.
Actually, that's something else. Since I've given up milk and sugar, I find myself eating a lot more often too.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised by that because obviously sugar gives you a different sort of energy. So you want actual food, aren't you? Because when you're feeling hungry, you would have gone for something with milk.
Well, at the moment, I'm not really eating healthy. It's chips at the moment. I can only eat these type of chips. I can't eat like the Thins chips anymore. Like these are the only type of chips I can eat.
So are they the thicker ridge ones? You see, you call them chips, and for us they're crisps.
Crisps, chips, yeah, same thing.
Oh, Adelaide is doing the Elon Musk. He's not confused with
that's
right.
Adelaide. That's what it was. Adelaide.
Confused with Tesla's free energy dream. Right, thank you. I'm sorry. What is your name? Can you write it in English, please? Because I know you've told me what it is before, but I've forgotten what you're called, and I don't like not being able to say your name. Hang about. Futuristic. You're saying that he died.
Darwin.
Futuristic saying he died older than he died in the in a hotel in New York.
Huh.
See that's all those different realities from one man. From one man. We all know loads of different things about him. Jarwen, thank you. I really appreciate that. Because obviously the characters of your name in your own language, I haven't got a clue what it really says. So thank you so much for that. I like to be personal, and I don't like not knowing how to say your name. So thank you very much, Jarwen. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping that one day we're actually going to bumble into a Tesla reality. Wouldn't that be marvelous? Bumbling into just bobbing along in this weird reality swap thing, and we actually hit a world that's beautiful with free energy that's not killing anything and clean oceans, and it would be so nice.
I think that would be asking too much, though, to be honest. I
Well,
think
I
every
agree.
reality, I think in every reality, our world's been fucked anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Sometimes I wonder whether it's trying to actually repair itself and get us back to our original reality, because it does give us things back every now and then, but it never does properly. And then you've got the internet coming out with excuses as to why things are the way they are. Oh, look at that!
Facebook.
We've got Brenta from Montenegro. See what I mean? It's everybody all over, isn't it? It's not. We're all over. We affected.
Where's that anyway?
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure. To be honest, I think it's an island, isn't it? I think. Can you explain a bit more, please, Prenter, exactly where you are? Yes, he did, Jarwin. He did. Tesla did find out how to transcend into higher dimensions. It's just a story, though. We've never met him, so who knows what's true. You're absolutely right there. But he did claim to have seen everything, the past, present, and the future. He actually said that in my reality. He actually said that he'd seen everything. He'd been outside of it all. And he was some people think that he was put here from somewhere else because he's so far. I mean, our world will not be the same without him, even now, even though we don't use the vast majority of his brilliance, we're still not using. But the bits that we are using, we wouldn't have it without him. We wouldn't. He's helped us in so many different ways. And we do know that the FBI went in and took all these papers. Is that the same in your guys' reality, where they, after he died, swooped in?
They took it all.
And
they took it all.
And so it was also Donald Trump's uncle that did that. And in 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and with 2 days of having these 20-odd boxes of Nikola Tesla's stuff, Donald Trump's uncle said, nothing to see here. There's nothing of any importance in here whatsoever. Really. So the Americans stole it. They've had all of their information, all of his information, all of the important stuff. They've had over 20 boxes full of his inventions, his thoughts, and the little bits that we know about. What about the bits we don't know about? If there was 20 large cases taken away full of paperwork, because it was all written down on paper, it wasn't like now. So there were boxes and boxes of paperwork, which the FBI have had since he died. And it's a bit weird how, like, a lot of things that we know about, our world is now part of our world. So what have they been doing with it?
Imagine if they put all his inventions into reality. Imagine how much different this world would be.
Oh, I know. I wish. I do. Well, you see, the thing is that it's run by money. Everything's run by money. The rich people that run the world. If they're not making on it, it doesn't happen.
Yep.
And they would rather kill the planet while they're making money. Because do you think for 1 minute those companies that are making all that money give a monkey's what happens to the world in 50 years? No, because they're here on Earth living a fantastic rich life. Doesn't matter who they tread, doesn't matter what they do to the planet, because they're not going to be here. They're going to live their fantastic life with all the money they've made. And they don't give a monkey's toss about what happens 50 years down the line. As long as they've made now, they do not care. And that's a sad fact. It's a very sad fact. It's a scary.
Well, that's what the governments say as well. All they care about is themselves as well.
Big business now has more say and more rule in the world than our governments do. They take governments to court now for not getting jobs, for not getting contracts. I mean, Richard Branson sued the NHS £350 million for not getting a contract.
Huh.
You know what I mean? It's like
didn't hear about that.
Now. Business is like countries now. They have more say than countries do than governments do. It's just the world we live in is Mandela Effect changed, because it is. It is Mandela Effect changed. Even the system that we live in is Mandela Effect changed. But it's just like up the ante of evil, really.
Yeah.
Up the ante of greed and selfishness. That's what I mean. Out there is an empty place. It doesn't feel warm and full of love anymore, does it?
No,
You know, it doesn't.
That died a while ago.
That's not just because we haven't got a yellow sun anymore. It's everything. We're infected. The whole planet, the whole of it is infected. It feels less. It feels empty. There's not as much substance to it. And there's certainly nowhere. It's just being run by people that really do not care about the people of today who they tread on and whose lives are being made misery because of their actions. In lots of countries, things like Nestle steal water. Coca-Cola steals water, and the natives don't have the water. They are finding it hard to drink.
Oh, wow.
While these big businesses steal their water. And it's this sort of thing. They don't care about the people whose lives they've ruined, whose livelihoods they've ruined because they took the water away. So now they can't fish. Now they can't do whatever it is they were doing. And they can't drink. But do Nestle give a shit? No. Do Coke give a shit? No. Because all they care about is their profits now, in the here and now, and how much they can make for themselves. They don't care about the people that they're hurting and damaging now. They don't care about the environment they're damaging now to make their money now. And they certainly don't care about what happens in 50 years' time. That's sad. That's the sad reality of the world that we're living in. And then you've got the Mandela Effect. So, you know, it's fucked all round. Never mind the COVID. Never mind that. The New World Order. It's just a new way of the big money is the new God. Business are the new. That's the way it is. And that fits in with the Jewish version of the Messiah coming, because they're waiting for a man to come, not a spiritual being, a man. And that man is going to be an anointed king. And there's an actual channel. His name's Adam, and he is against Zionism. Now, so am I, but we kind of tackle it in a different way. And Adam actually talks to Jewish people on his channel and asks them the hard questions, and they answer him. And when he said, it says in the Talmud, because it doesn't say in the Torah, but it says in the Talmud that the goy will all be, we will be like cattle to you, and we will be your slaves. And this Jewish man that was like defending the Jewish faith said, "Oh, no, you misunderstand. You're misunderstanding. No, we don't mean slaves. What we mean, it's more like managers and workers, and we'll be the managers, and you will just work for us. That's all it means." And Adam's saying, "Oh, you're making it sound, you're painting a lovely flowery picture." He said, "But ultimately what you're saying is that you, as Jews, will still be the boss, and that everybody else will work underneath you." You know, so basically you can't flower it up by saying, "No, we don't mean slaves. We mean managers and workers, and you'll be the workers and we'll be the managers." I think it says something like every Jewish person will have 300 goy to be their slaves, to be their personal thing. You know, they're the Jewish. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody's religion, but the Jewish religion, a lot of what they believe is not what we're told, and it's how. This is why we say Zionism is different to Judaism, because there's an awful lot of Jews that also do not believe in what Israel are doing, and in fact the creation of Israel. And actually that is also a massive Mandela effect for me, because in the reality that I came from, there was never a place called Israel before 1947. It didn't exist.
Oh, really?
It came into being as a country in 1948 in my believe me, when you fight against Israel, you have to know your facts. And not ever once did any Zionist ever say, actually, there was an Israel, and it was that. No, they used to call it Samaria and Judea, is what they called it. They called Palestine Samaria and Judea because that's what it was called on the ground. It was never, ever called Israel on the ground in history. Never until 1948, when the people became a country. Now it's changed, and Israel was a place on the ground. But in my reality, no Zionist ever threw that at me. They always called it Samaria and Judea. Never ever was it the kingdom of Israel, whereas now in this reality, in my reality, there was a kingdom of Israel in the past. So I can't even argue the same argument that I would about the creation of Israel, because that history has changed massively from there never was an Israel on the ground to, oh yes, there was in the long distance. So even that is a massive Mandela effect to me, being somebody who protests against Israel and their occupation of Palestine and the things they do to people and the way they lie about it. So I'm well aware and of the history. You have to be. You can't fight for something like that with half a history, half understanding what's going on. And then suddenly that. So I can't say there was never an Israel on the ground anymore, because in this reality there was. But in my original reality, there never was. So that in itself, the fact that Israel is a Mandela effect, that's a pretty big thing to me. When you think about end times and the coming of the Messiah and the false Messiah and everything that goes on, and that changes, that's Israel having been there in the past when it never used to be in my reality. So in my reality, it seems to be changing in a way that I never expected it to. I certainly never expected that to be the case. I did do a video about it. If you want to go onto my videos and give it a check out, it doesn't show you that far down. If you go to have a look at my videos, you have to go to, you go to the oldest first, change it to oldest first and scroll up. That's when you get to see pretty much all of the videos that I've made. So go and check out the one about Israel, because for me, that is a very personal, freaky Mandela effect. And I think it makes, you know, I think there are other connotations to that within what the Mandela effect is, and racing towards end times. It all seems to be colliding for me. And that really was quite a big one. So I did make a video about it. I thought long and hard about, should I? Because I tried to keep my activism away from this actual channel. This is about my Mandela effect, my Mandela affected life, not about my activism. But when your activism and your Mandela affected life collide, like bang, in the biggest way possible, then I had to make a video about it. So there we go. Yes, Israel is a Mandela effect for me. It did, in this reality, it did exist in the past, and in my reality, it never did. Never.
Talking about slavery, because you did mention that. One thing that people should be careful about when it comes to slavery, and I've only just realized this in the last month or so. Have you? I'm sure that a lot of you have heard about minimalism. It's about decluttering everything that you own, basically, and only keeping the very small amount that you want. Now, this is actually a mind control tactic. Be careful. I mean, yeah, be careful about that. Take a little bit of the advice that they're saying and use it for your own life, but do not listen to everything that they're saying. Yeah, it is a mind control tactic, and it's basically getting you to get rid of everything, basically like 90% of your possessions. And the reason why they're doing this is because they're trying to enslave humanity. That's why minimalism has taken off. I've only realized that recently.
Didn't know. I really didn't know.
Because I started falling for it myself. So now I'm only getting rid of things that I know I'm never going to use again. But anything that I will use within the next 5 to 10 years, I'll keep. Because I realize that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of. They're trying to get people to get rid of everything, basically, and just have just the essentials, and that's it. That's what they're trying to get.
They own enough and be happy with that.
Yeah, and it's a mind control tactic.
Yeah, I never even thought of that, Joel. I need to investigate that a lot more.
Yeah,
for a definite fact. I'm definitely going to be having a look at that one. Crazy times, crazy times.
But the way that things are going, I mean, yeah.
Oh dear. No, we have, and like we definitely, John was just saying that we, ages ago, someone said they came from a reality where the whole world, everyone was fighting everyone else, but over religions instead of country versus country, it was religion versus religion. So that looks like the very thing that Albert Pike, as I was saying earlier on one of our earlier lives, Albert Pike, that's Albert Pike, what he wanted to happen right there. So there's a reality where it's actually happening already, you know.
Wow.
And
so we're heading to that as well.
Yeah, it looks like it, because I mean, what happens, one, we might not have it happen all at the same time, but we do eventually slip into those realities anyway. We do eventually reach them, whether we go to the same place at the same time or not. We all seem to share, we get the change ourselves sometime after. You might have something change today, and I might have it happen changing 3 months' time. You know, so it's those sort of things.
And let's face it, there's more and more protests all the time.
There are, but we're not shown them. You're not.
No.
So I mean, the BBC.
All that censorship.
There was 100,000 people outside the BBC, all chanting outside the BBC. The BBC didn't report on the protest. The protest wasn't about the BBC at that point. We've had protests against the BBC, but this was a protest in general, and they didn't show it because it was against Israel and Israel bombing Palestine. So the mainstream media doesn't like showing you that kind of thing. So they weren't showing 100,000 people outside their window, telling them how wrong they were and how disgraceful they were. But what you did get was members of the BBC tweeting pictures of the actual crowd that I was part of that crowd, and putting it onto Twitter because they weren't allowed to report as journalists, and that was right outside the BBC. There was a march for the NHS. There was a march for the NHS. Over 100,000 people attended that. Now that was for the NHS. The BBC never reported on it because they report what the government tells them to, and if it's against the government, they will not post it. They will not tell you about it. The BBC have stopped being a proper journalistic news channel a long time ago.
Just burn it down. Burn it down.
So, sadly, that wouldn't change anything. They set up elsewhere. They just set up elsewhere. You know that they're the propaganda.
Then you burn that one down too.
Total propaganda and nothing but. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. You know.
It's not much better over here, unfortunately.
It's really sad. Oh dear.
I refuse to watch mainstream media too.
No,
it's just a lot of shit now.
Yeah, some people see that, but an awful lot of people just believe every word they say, and that's what scares me. That's what worries me so much for the whole of humanity. The vast majority of people in my country just sit and listen to what they're told and believe it. And over this last year, it's made me see how very different we are to the general population. To the general population, we stand apart from them. We do. And in fact, Brian was having a discussion on one of his lives the other day. Like I don't like calling them NPCs because they're our family, friends, and loved ones. But I refuse to call them sheep because we bought them. We were them once. You know, we knew as little as they did once. It's just that we are past that. So I won't call people sheep because it's not their fault. You know, it's not their fault that they've been blinded and lied to, and they still believe it. But we were all there once. We were all believers once. I mean, at the moment in Britain, we've just gone since Philip's dead crazy. You know, it's got a bit crazy on that at the minute, which makes a pleasant change from the COVID change. They're constantly pumping at us, but now it's wall to wall Philip. So at least we get a break from the COVID chart for a bit. Although it doesn't really affect me anyway because I don't have a TV. So, yeah.
Well, there's a channel that I used to follow, and unfortunately, the woman that did it actually died. I've actually spoken about it before.
Yeah,
her channel is called Alice in Mandela Land, and she actually predicted that something big. This is going back about 3-4 years ago now, because she's been dead for a bit over a year now. Or actually close to 2 years now. And about a year before she died, she predicted. Let's go back in 2017. I think 2017. She predicted something big is about to happen, and said when it happens, it's going to blow the whole world apart. Not physically, but a lot of things going to happen, and it's going to be big. And then COVID hit a couple of years later.
But let's face it, none of us could have ever, 6 months before COVID hit, if anybody had said the whole world would have been in lockdown, no, we'd have thought, you complete idiot.
Yep.
How on earth can the whole world be on lockdown? Nobody would have believed it was possible. And yet they did it. And
she would have known. She would have known.
We did, and they just complied. They did it. She just complied.
She was actually clairvoyant, so she was able to see what would happen well into the future. So I believe that's why she died. Because I know she had a lot of health. I know she had a lot of health issues, but I think she just didn't want to be here. Mainly because her health conditions was deteriorating, but also I think because she knew what was coming, she just didn't want to be a part of it. That's my theory. I can't confirm, but
I can't blame her for that. Right, futuristic. It says saying he vividly heard about both, but having a feeling that Palestine was named something else within Israel, but definitely heard of both. Now, very quick scenario. It was called Palestine. There never was an Israel in my reality. And in 1917, Lord Rothschild wrote to the British government, and our Home Secretary was called Balfour. And it's called the Balfour Declaration. And in 1917, he declared that he was going to give land to the Palestinian land for the nation of Israel. The setting up of the nation of Israel. Now, Britain had a mandate over Palestine at the time because we were in the middle of the First World War, and we took over Palestine. So we were by de facto looking after Palestine. We weren't looking after Palestine. What we did is we promised it to two people. We promised the Palestinians that if they helped the British, that they would be able to run their own state, and they promised the same thing through the Balfour Declaration on behalf of the Rothschild family, Lord Rothschild at the time, that they could have Israel. They could have parts of Palestine. And even in our churches today, there are memorials to men that died in Palestine. There was no Israel ever at any point in my reality. And then in 1948, the United Nations recognized the state of Israel, who declared themselves a state and independent. They declared themselves that in 1948, but in 1947 there were over 700,000 people, Palestinian people, were moved out of their homes and became refugees, so that people from all around the world could move to Israel, the now newly formed country of Israel. And that's how it started. And Israel takes more and more and more of the land. They were mandated a certain amount, but in that they had a war between Palestine and Israel in the 1960s, and I think it was called the 4-Day War. And Israel overtook and took Jerusalem and took vast swathes of Palestine. They didn't give that land back, even though they're supposed to. It's against the Geneva Convention. And every day they take more and more Palestinian land. So Palestine is now Gaza and a tiny bit of the West Bank. And that's all that's left. And they're even trying to, the West Bank, they're trying to overtake that at the minute. They're not going to be happy until there is no Palestine left, and it's all just Israel. And I know people, I know Palestinians, and so it's very close to my heart. It's a very close subject to my heart, because they're under occupation. It's not a free thing, and over 50% of the Palestinians are actually under the age of 18. So you've got this nuclear, believe me, nuclear nation of Israel, which are occupying and punishing mainly children for not letting them occupy them, and expecting to be treated terribly. Treated, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how badly they're treated. So in my reality, I had to know the history of what happened if I was going to try and fight how the Israelis are treating the Palestinian people. You can't go into that kind of thing without understanding the whole history of it. So for Israel to change and to be on the ground that there was an Israel on the ground thousands of years ago is a complete change for me, and it blew my head off, because that's personal. Because my activism for Palestine is a very personal thing to me. I know Palestinians that come from the people that are, there's lots of American Palestinians actually, because a lot of American Palestinians went to America. They went to America when they still hold the keys to the houses that they once had. So when Israel, in my reality, was saying it's a land without people for a people without land, it's a lie, because 750,000 plus people were made homeless in order for that to happen. You know, nothing to do with the war. People have this tendency to think that Israel's there and people were, you know, it's obviously, people think it's been there all along, called Israel. People don't even know it was only made a country in 1948. They believe it's always been there, called Israel, because that's what we're taught. But in my reality, that wasn't the fact at all. So I had to know the history. Now the history's changed on me. Do you know? So I can't cope with anything that's unjust. I really can't. I have a big problem with it. I always have from being a child. I can't deal with it. And the fact that Israel claim that they're victims whilst bombing the shit out of innocent people with big bombs and bombing hospitals, where the Palestinians are throwing stones, and their bombs that they throw at Israel are, they might make one small hole in a pavement, not bring down a whole building or street. So it's that kind of thing. While they're busy pretending that they're victims, I find very difficult. And I did try and keep it away from this channel, but when you've got Israel being a Mandela effect, I had to say something about it. And now, I mean, I'm still talking about it now, and I really shouldn't be, because I don't want my activism to be part of this. I don't want it to be political, this channel to be political in any way, shape or form. It's supposed to be just about the Mandela effect, but that was the reality of the history in my reality, you know. So I can't really use that as an argument anymore, which is very hard. You know, very hard. All of it.
But
right, well...
But you know what, in saying that, why not use this channel to help with that as well? Because you're still reaching more people.
Well, yeah, but
at the same time.
Yeah, but I was trying not to involve my activism in this channel, but it is true that it's a Mandela effect for me, so that's why I brought it up now. And then obviously in the chat, people weren't sure what I was talking about, so that's why I gave you the quick synopsis there of what was going on. And Xavier San Diego says, hello, I'm watching from the beginning. Hello, honey. Hello. I don't know who you are. I've never met you before, but I'm very glad you're here. You're more than welcome. Oh, believe me, Prel, never mind scoffing at the humanitarians trying to help. The death threats and the awful things that I've had said and threatened to me from Zionists protecting. So defending Israel. They're vile. They are really the troll. They take being a troll to next levels, to totally next levels. I've had death threats, I've had rape threats, I've had my children threatened. Jeez. I've had all kinds of things. It's awful. So I've got a very, very thick skin now, because I've really had to deal with an awful lot. Zionists protecting, you know, defending them and what they do, defending. They're vile. They can't stick to facts. They have to be personal and start wishing death and rape on you. You know, it's like, and they do. They really do. They're horrendous, and they don't. They'll do it publicly. They do it publicly. They don't even try and hide it. It's difficult. You do have to get a very thick skin. A very thick skin.
How did you feel when they started doing that at the beginning? That is.
What do you mean?
Well, when they started threatening you, like how did you react to that?
When it first happened, oh, I went to pieces. I was an absolute bloody mess. I was terrified. They were sending me things like a picture of a man holding a heart, eating a heart. Like that was going to happen to me. They were going to rip my heart out and eat it. Sending me, I'm going to pay somebody £300 to rape you. I lost the plot. I got really, really upset by it. And then I'd write a status about it. Well, they loved that. It just fed them. My distress fed them. So I stopped reacting to it like that. If I would answer them, because they'd come on my profile and be awful, and I mean really awful, openly awful, and I'd answer them, and I'd interact with them. At one point I interacted with them a lot, trying to explain that no, you're wrong, please go and see Nablus, go to the middle of Israel, go to Israel, it's beautiful and peaceful. Well, is it? Or are you all nearly, or is it a terrible place to live because you're all under fear of death? Make your mind up. Is it come to Israel and have a holiday, or come to Israel and have a holiday, but you might be killed because it's so dangerous? You know, so it's really difficult, but it very quickly you really learn to get a hard skin. You can't be an activist and not get a hard skin. You have to. So it's like water off a duck's back now. Say what you like, doesn't bother me.
Fair enough.
But it did, very much did at first. Oh, I was distraught. I was absolutely distraught. I have actually seen Zionists tell Jews that weren't Zionists that they should have been in the gas chamber. That I've seen with my own eyes. And I used to report it. I used to actually have a page showing the things that Zionists said. And they used to report it and get me taken down for showing the things they were openly saying. It's like, whoa, what? It's just crazy shit. So no, I mean, I've been trolled. I've been trolled by white supremacists as well, because they don't much like me either, and they say very similar things.
What are they?
Death.
Who are white supremacists?
White supremacists. People like the English Defence League, the British National Party, Britain First. Anybody that doesn't like Muslims and black people. Anybody with a brown skin. White people that think they're superior. White people that do the Nazi salute. How dare you do the Nazi salute? You know, they're like middle-aged men in the middle of the street with their arms out like a Nazi, saying, "My granddad died for this country." He didn't die for you to stand there with a freaking Nazi salute, you piece of shit. Yeah. So I'm sorry, very passionate about these things. You know,
they died for freedom.
Yes, they did die for freedom, but they also fought and died against men that stuck their arms up like that and called themselves Nazis. You know, their granddad would be spinning in the grave. Don't do that. Don't put your arm up like that. So white nationalists, people that hate anybody that's not white, the ones that they think that somehow they're a better breed than everybody else, they don't like me. They really, and they're pretty vile as well. They've wished death on me and rape, and they say things like, you go and live in a Muslim area and put your short skirt on. I'm like, I live in a Muslim area and put my short skirt on. Nobody ever harasses me, calls me names, tries to condemn or judge me in any way, shape or form. It's people that haven't got any idea about what it's like to live, live within another community, and they aren't even prepared to try and find out about what that community is actually like. And I'm not just meaning Muslims, I mean anybody that's not them. They think they're better than. You've got a brown skin. They don't want you in their country. They don't think you should be in their country. Who are you? You're beneath us. Fuck off. That sort of person I can't bear, and I will always stand up against. The colour of a man's skin and the religion that he follows, neither of those things have got anything to do with you if you're not to do with it, if you know what I mean. You can't think you're better than anybody else. You can't live your life going out on the street shouting, "I'm better than you because I'm white." I can't understand that. And you know what? At most of these rallies, there's a bloody Israeli flag because they're very right-wing. They really are very right-wing, the Israelis, and they have no problem with their racism. They're happily racist. They have no problem with that. But I do. I can't bear the misinformation, people that are talking about things they don't know. That's why, for me, having to learn about the history of Israel and Palestine and everything that went on around it, if I was going to talk about that, I had to know the facts of the matter, because otherwise I'd have been chopped down and nobody'd listen. Nobody'd listen at all. So no, I mean, you white supremacists and your Zionists are very, very similar. The things that they say in support of their own beliefs, that they're somehow better, they really will do and say the most awful things.
Well, I was talking to a woman when I was busking on Saturday. I met this lovely woman. I can't remember what country she was from, but in her country, by law she had to wear the headpiece. I can't remember what it's called, not the burqa, but the headpiece. And she said that she hated it. She moved to Australia just to get away from it.
Well, it's I mean,
so they wouldn't judge you. They wouldn't judge you for wearing a skirt, because they would have loved to have done that.
I mean, I've got Muslim women and men friends here. Obviously, I live in the middle of a Muslim area, so I've got lots of friends that are both male and female. And some of my Muslim friends wear hijab, and some of them don't. And some of my Muslim friends wear the full, and it's called a niqab. Not a burqa. A burqa is the one with the grill eyes, like they wear in Afghanistan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called a niqab rather. A niqab is a wedding. A niqab, and the niqab is not everybody wears that. You've noticed that, because that's a Sharia thing to do, and it doesn't actually say that in the Quran. It says cover your hair and keep your modesty is what it says. So it's how people interpret things. So some of my Muslim friends that are girls, they wear hijab. Some of them don't, because they're not forced to. They're not actually forced to. You know, most families leave it up to them to decide themselves. But if you're in an Islamic country that forces that, like Saudi Arabia, like Iran, then you're being forced to, because it's one group's view overall. So their interpretation is overall, whereas in Islam, there are 72 different sects of Islam. They don't all believe in exactly the same thing. There's interpretation. And yet most people think that they all just believe one thing. They don't. They have different interpretations, just like Christianity does. And because these people don't even understand that, which is one of the most basic things ever, if you don't understand that, how can you say you're superior to anybody? Just by the very fact that you think you're superior because you're white, says clearly you are not. You know, so, well, there we go. Anyway, thank you for letting me rant. This is not what I actually intended, but I've literally spent the last hour having a rant. So I'm going to bring this to an end, because it's like literally 3.5 hours, which means we've done nearly 8 hours today.
Okay.
We've done it in 3 sets, but we've done nearly 8 hours today, and I do want to do some more. And in fact, now I've got a bank account, I might actually go absolutely crazy and buy myself some extra time, so it doesn't matter, and I'm not going to run out after me 20 hours. So,
well,
thank you.
I was actually thinking as well, Ash. I was thinking as well earlier on, if you didn't have a bank account, when I actually joined StreamYard, you could have used my account as well.
Oh, that's really thoughtful of you, Joel.
Because I don't know if I'm going to use 20 hours or 30 hours of StreamYard.
Well, that's it. I didn't think that I would, but we know how easy it is.
Well, I suppose if you're talking to someone as well, then yeah. But for me, I probably would only use maybe 5 hours of it.
Yeah, I totally get that. But no, for me, 20 hours is definitely not enough, because we never run out of things to say, do we?
No.
But when I'm on my own, I couldn't do this all on my own for 3.5 hours. There's no way I'd run out of things to say. But with somebody else to bounce off, it just flows quite lovely, doesn't it? So thank you for being here again. It's been brilliant catching up with you. We're going to do a lot more of it. To everybody who's come on the chat throughout the day and who's here today and here now, thank you for joining. I love you all. Please do think about popping on. You are, you're more than welcome. And you don't have to show your face. I mean, earlier on in the chat, I actually said that. I said, there's 24 people here and you might not be talking, but I know you're there. I see you. Don't be shy. Get on. And there was like 5 of them disappeared one after the other. I was just laughing so hard. So for everybody else, thank you so much for a really brilliant chat. I've had a great day. Thank you so much. You've made an old lady very happy. So my love to you all, from whatever reality you're in now to whatever reality you happen to be in next time we chat. Night.
Bye for now.